here. I think we might have a slight delay there, but it's all right because I'm getting a little bit of echo back on your one, Dolly. I'm not sure. All right, because I'm getting obviously we're new to this, guys. I'm not sure. All right, because I'm getting a little bit of echo. Might be coming through your mobile. Was it your mobile?
Tablet.
Oh, bless. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Sleep. No, it's all right. It's a bit. This is the really woke late show, so obviously this is a lot later than we would be normally coming on, but it, you know, needs must this evening. We had a few things that we needed to do, so the only time we were really going to get to go on this evening is now. And as you can see, myself and Dolly, we are clever and we know what we're talking about, glasses on, so you obviously know we mean business tonight. There's a few things that I've got written down here that I want to go through, and there's a few things that I've got in here that I want to go through as well. I'm so sorry for the delay in starting. We did genuinely want to start at 15:15. We were just having a few technical issues. And just before we clicked live, we lost 007 as he got into his local village. So he will join the studio again in a second and we'll add him in.
And I'd just like to say, mods, be aware, because it's that time of night where the dwellers like to come in. You know, the trolls at night like to come in. So I'm sure it's a good time for some of those.
So, Dolly, should we go to the chat room and give everyone a shout out? Because there's been a few people in the chat room from the get-go. I think we should give everyone a shout out right about now. So I'm going to go to the tippity top and I'm going to give you all a shout out. Yasu, thank you so much for tuning in. Tapper 777, thank you for being here. Ricardo, thanks so much for being here as well. And JP, thanks so much for tuning in. I know we've got 2 thumbs down, Ricardo, without any content.
Got 8 thumbs down here on my side.
I know. You were right though, Dolly. It looks like we're just going to get trolled.
Time of night, isn't it? Yeah. Past the witching hour. Past the witching hour.
Hola, Chris Matt and Rachel Pixie. Hello, my darling. And Dagon Morningstar. Evening Flutties. Nice to see you, my darling. Rachel was just watching Ancient Aliens while waiting for the show to start. What were you watching on there, Rachel? I've watched a few episodes of Ancient Aliens, but having said that, I haven't watched any of them recently.
Do you know what I was just watching?
Go on. I know what you were watching.
Halfway through it.
What you were just
watching. Rewatched. I've not seen it for a long time. Was The Matrix. Yeah, it totally makes sense now.
What one were you watching? The first one?
First one, yeah.
For real? How did you watch the whole of it, or
who, me?
Yeah, did you manage to watch the whole movie?
I've got halfway in, I think. I'll save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll watch the rest of it tomorrow. So while we're waiting for 00 to come back in, as I said to the chat room at the beginning before we went live, is that if there's anything that you want us to bring up tonight in amongst everything that we're going to be talking about already, pop a notification into the chat room and we will endeavour to try and cover that topic if we can. If we can, we shall. There's a few things we've been seeing. So as usual, you know, there's a few things we're going to be saying. I will reiterate, there was some bits and pieces that myself, Dolly and Double were talking about a few weeks back regarding the whole cases that are going through the American court system and the Department of Justice at the moment, and everything else that's going on with Brexit and everything else that's going on with the sea lanes and people being lost at sea. Seems that's a common narrative at the moment, and everything else that's going on in Hong Kong. We You heard everything that's going on with that social credit system there. It's literally like an episode out of Black Mirror. It's literally like an episode out of Black Mirror. People, 90,000 people have been prevented from buying train tickets. Yeah.
Ah, and how does that work over there? I wonder.
People that have been prevented from flying. Yeah.
Are they on the system thing?
Yeah, they're on that social credit system.
Yeah, that's how it stops you.
Messed up. Has anyone else heard about that?
In
the chat room. Have you heard? Have you heard?
My chat room
stopped working for a second. Sorry, guys. It literally just stopped at Rachel's.
Yeah, I'm going to have to refresh mine.
Yeah. Astro King, how you doing? Flat Earth Trav, how you doing, darling? And Effie Mowry, how you doing, sweetheart? And I don't want to miss anyone. James Breeden, how you doing? And Douglas Falk, hello, Jason and Roxanne. Glad you have a sticker. Glad to have a sticker on the tour bus. I hope you guys will enjoy the book if you get around to reading it one day. Awesome, Douglas. Thank you so much, my darling. And yeah, I really do look forward to reading the book. And that is another thing I'm going to remind everybody. The tour kicks off on the 29th of August. That is just in a few days' time. And the Kidderminster event is on the 13th of September through that weekend. And then we've got the Amsterdam convention, which is at the end of September. And the tour going on in and around those events. And that's just for starters. So there's lots and lots coming up. And if you want any more information for anything that I've just said, please take a look.
Who's that, Douglas?
Douglas Falk.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, good stuffs. And who else? Who else? As I said, I don't want to miss anybody out. Corey Murphy. Hello. Okay, I'm going to send 00 another link. Let me just send him another link. And Dolly, I'm literally down near the bottom, but I've seen Lee and Voyage. Can you read out some others? And I'm just going to send 00 another link.
Voyage, did you say JP, Corey Murphy? I think that's it, isn't it? Dave, Ricardo.
Like the way
Astro King, did you say Astro King? What?
A little Ricardo.
I don't know, it's every time I see his name, like Ricardo.
So Corey was saying the protests in Hong Kong are absolutely staged. You do some research on it, you won't take too long even to find the production company. Yeah? Share. Please share. One person gets shot in the eye a few days later and they're walking around looking like Pudsey Bear. Yeah, Corey, interesting points there. Saying about Hong Kong. There's a lots of here he is. Yay! There he is.
Hi, Double.
What are you doing? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
I can hear you just fine.
Ah, good job. Do you know what? It's been a few weeks since we've managed to actually be on like this, right? Last week was the meetup. The week before. Yeah, I feel like it's been a few weeks.
Yeah. So this is what we wanted to discuss as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you trying to call me? Was one of you trying to call me?
No.
077.
No, I don't want me evermore. No.
I've got my green tea, people. It's not we. It looks like we. I'm not on the
You're not drinking the
thing. No, it's green tea. Just saying.
Right, let me just come on. There we go. I do it from here, Chris. I'll do it just like that.
How does someone get a comment?
That's an interesting icon.
Interesting picture.
You put an interesting comment in the chat room. And if it's what do we deem? I don't really have a list of what I deem worthy. It's just if it sticks out, I end up popping it up. I feel like, yeah, go on. Off you go on the screen. I like that. But I don't like doing it on this style. I feel like if I do it, I have to do it like that, because if I don't, it cuts us off. As it was doing to you. I feel like I've got to reposition myself into the little
Yeah.
There's not really much manipulating it, or we could do this. That's a little bit bigger.
Cutting bitch's face off.
That's a bit selfish. Don't you agree? Slightly a little bit selfish. Yeah, it's a bit selfish. And then this doesn't really look much different. And speak, Dolly.
Hello?
Yeah, what is that all about?
No.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm trying to work out what I'm doing here, guys. Sorry, just bear with me a second, because... So what is a solo layout?
These are the only glasses I've got.
Oh. Hello, Dolly.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Dolly.
All right. Oh, all right, Rach. You know what? This is quite fun, guys. Sorry. This should have been done in the test earlier on. And it wasn't. So my apologies. But
I need coffee.
Right. So everyone, sorry to pop it on there. So I'll pop it back on dolls. Right, dolls. So can you see to your left-hand corner, Dolly? You can see the Really Woke Show icon in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see the live bit in the other corner. And the banner down at the bottom. It's almost like weather. We've got the two icons and we have the banner down below. So hopefully this is a bit cleaner for everybody to watch. And for all of you in the chat room.
I'll tell you what, one thing's definite. The picture seems much more HD. Much more HD than Skype or Hangouts or YouTube or anything. It's really HD.
Yeah, for me.
You know what that says to me? You know what that says to me?
What?
Military.
And Dolls was just watching The Matrix, so what do you know?
I was watching The Matrix, and then I got a question about The Matrix when I got on my phone. I was like, "Hey,
see, you couldn't make it up. You literally couldn't make it up." So, all right, we're going to get into it, Dolly. I don't want to be like selfish about this, and again, I want to give a shout out to Lee Redpath, Critical Inception. Anyone else in the chat room? I don't want to Matrix Media. Joey Sylvie, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Doc Michael. And anyone else I've missed, I'm sorry. I'm extremely sorry. So, Mark James Levesque.
Dolly.
Dave.
Huh?
Sorry, yeah.
What?
We just got Dolly.
It's just me.
No, not me.
I was going to say something else.
It's like not me. Now you're all camera shy. What's with the camera shy, Rich?
Because we're all
three of us. We're supposed to have all three of us.
Yeah, we're supposed to have all three of us in a line.
That's right. Let's go into a line again. I'm like, okay.
Let's go into the Trinity. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go first then, if everyone's all right with that. And I'm going to start off with the Really Woke Show, because I was sitting and thinking today where, hello, Jane. How you doing, darling? And that's good to know, Voyage. That's quite reassuring to know, because I'm
Jane Irish. Where's she from?
Don't know.
Do you think the name Irish is giving us a little bit of a hint? But then again, let's not assume. Let's not assume.
Exactly. See, her name might actually be Irish, and she might be from Devon.
Well, obviously, Baron, not everyone has to agree on everything. So sorry for you being banned from Dolly, but I'm sure it wasn't as simple as you just questioning the dome.
No, I doubt it.
There's a lot more to it than that, as there always is. But hey ho, you can only keep.
Can we just say as well, the really woke show isn't just about that.
And she's from America, by the way, Miss Jane Irish. Like I said, let's not make assumptions and assume because someone's. My mum's maiden name was Denmark, and my mum literally thought she was from Denmark because her surname was Denmark. Bless her. She thought she was like a Viking of all sorts. So yeah, we can only keep some of the people happy some of the time, not all of the people happy all of the time. We're not going to obviously agree with everything, everybody says. So sometimes some people may be a tad bit disgruntled because we're not saying what they want.
Yes, and don't forget, we do have people that come in from other people's channels that I'm not interested in, so that might be why. Just saying.
So Jose Gonzalez, lovely to see you as well. No. We're just literally, JP, just doing a disclaimer for people that are a bit disgruntled with us and literally come into the chat room complaining. Can I literally put it like that? Yeah. So if you're coming into the chat room and not even saying hello with a complaint, this isn't points of view. However, if you genuinely do have a complaint and you're genuinely disgruntled, the chat room is probably not the best place to have that dealt with. So I would suggest to you to email operationrealness@yahoo.com and I will endeavour to get back to you within a 7-day cycle. And with that being said,
if you're coming in,
very efficient, a thought and formal there.
Says a lot.
Rox has got a business head on.
Oh, do you know what? I'm trying to be diplomatic before you know, a can of Angry Worms gets out. It's going to be a long tour, Rich. It's going to be a long tour. So if we've got disgruntled folk before we're even off the starting block, especially people that have had issues for over a year now,
exactly.
You know, complaints on an email to operationrealness@yahoo.com. No, just this is my channel. So I tend to kind of lord it around my channel because it's my channel. This isn't Dolly's channel. This isn't Double O's channel. This is Roxanne the Globalist Denyer's channel.
Is somebody complaining like big time? I'm going to go on the chat.
Dave just said, "Are you the boss, Roxanne?" On my channel, as Dolly is, and as
Rox,
channel, I am the boss. On
Rox is the boss, man. Rox is the boss, and unless Dolly's got something to say, then Dolly's the boss. And
then you're the boss.
I'm the third down in the pecking order because 2 against 1.
Pecking order, you know.
Well, you've got to do what the women say, Rich. Got to do what the women say.
Yeah, I learned that a long time ago.
God, funny.
No. So that, like I said, that gets me onto the subject of the Really Woke Show, right? I wanted to say thank you to the both of you because we've come a long way in about 4 months. We started out with the Wide Awake stream, and that started around May, around April, May. A few conversations we had started to develop into more regular conversations, and it was Global Eye conversations, and then we birthed the Wide Awake Club, and we had Ranty and Anthony on with us as well in the initial few live streams. And I'm looking at it, 3-4 months later, May, June, July, 3.5 months later, and here we are. I'm not really sure then if we knew where we would be now with it, but I really feel like we've taken baby steps, and here we are. I know we're not live just now on a Saturday morning, but myself and Dolly have got kids, and we've all got work.
We're organic.
It's been a tiring week.
We're organic.
Yeah, we're just trying to do,
especially after Saturday, last Saturday.
This day as it comes, isn't it? We're totally organic. We do things as and when we can do them, and if we could do it every day, we'd do it every day. But just you guys have got way too much on.
Well, as people saw this morning, I had Finn in the background. I can't do it when he's there. It's just one of them.
It is. It's one of them. Are any of you guys watching it on YouTube? You two, because I can't see the YouTube stream.
Yeah, I am.
That's good. Okay, so I'm going to get to some of you in the chat before I carry on. Huh?
I just want to shout out to everyone, like everyone in the chat. Lee and Tupper and Doc, Jose, Maori. Hey, Maori hasn't got a wrench, and JP hasn't got a wrench. Oh, of course, we're in your. Yeah, we were in Dolly's chat earlier, weren't we? That's what.
Sorry, my darlings. So I'm just trying to work out what the chat's hearing and what we're seeing. Is it delayed on the chat? Because some of the chat is not making sense.
Yeah, it's delayed.
It is.
What's Jose saying? I didn't stay flat.
Is Jose
Gonzalez. I didn't stay flat. Have you got man boobs, please? Have you got moves?
Everyone in the chat room, they're going to have to fill us in to what's going on with Jose. What's good? What's good? What's good?
You didn't stay true, son. That's what someone said.
Joey's calling you out, Jose. I want to hear what's going on. This is interesting. However, hold on. Shout out to the ones that keep questioning the official narrative. We make the difference. Well said. Coffee Paul, hello, my darling. So,
see, Jose, I just want to say this quickly, right? Because Jose's saying he was flat for about 2 years, right? Jose, we can't prove the Earth is flat, but we can prove it's not a globe. So don't worry about it. We're not flat earthers. We're globe deniers. It's a massive, massive difference. Huge difference. One's a paradigm and one's not. So
nice.
Truth seekers, yay.
Nice. So as I was saying, around May, we started Wide Awake, and that quickly and very fast turned into the Really Woke show. And with that being said, we've had a good few shows already, and we've only been in this, like I said, about 12 to 18 weeks. With that being said, a lot has happened. The reason I wanted to go live so much is because over the last few weeks, on and off air, life's taken a few turns. So we thought it'd be a good idea to reflect before moving on to the next chapter, before turning the page and going through the next phase or term before the end of this year. And within that term, we've got a few events, a tour, and a lot of content to make. So here we are.
Yay.
We've had Weed the People. Yeah. We've had Gematria. We've spoken about QAnon. We've spoken about Epstein. We've spoken about Podesta, the Clintons, Seth Rich. We've also started a channel, a Really Woke channel as well. And we've done a meetup.
Yay.
We've had ODD.
That's right.
Big channel.
That's right. We've had Ranty Flat Earth as well, Sleeping Warrior, and Adam Meakin from Iron Realm Media. Even though we had that piece, I
really enjoyed the stream with Anthony.
Level Earth
I'd
one.
love to do another stream with
not dishonest people at all. I don't hang around with dishonest people. Just want to put that out there. I don't know.
Me too. And I agree with you as well. I want to do another stream with them as well. Because I feel like we literally just scratched the surface. Oh,
so, Rachel was saying the meetup was amazing. It was.
Go on. Sorry, I'm just looking at the It's a good question. How do any of us know when we're woke?
How do I know when I'm woke?
I think if you
when you're seeing the deception, when you're seeing the deception.
For me, it was when I started critically thinking about things and not just accepting what I'd been taught as fact. Started to question what I'd been taught as fact, and started to see that things that I'd previously taken for as a given. Once I'd taken time to look into them, you pretty much see that everything starts falling at the waistline. So I don't know if any of us can know, that we're woke in general until we've started to look. I think that's pretty.
I think that was one of the good reasons when we changed the name from the Wide Awake Club, and it was Jess had the best idea, didn't she, to call it the Really Woke. It was Jess's idea, I think, to call it the Really Woke show, wasn't it? And I like Really Woke against the Wide Awake Club because we're woke, but we're not wide awake yet. You get woken up and you stir, and you know, in the morning you get woken up and you've been in a heavy sleep. You stir, and it takes you you know, it takes you a few minutes to wake up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I want to just reiterate.
So we're all in that. We're all in that.
That's why I say,
Yeah,
Dave,
exactly. No one has ever woke to everything. Exactly.
Yeah.
Colin Turner. I agree with Colin Turner. Woke is relative. No one's ever woke to everything, and we need to be humble and admit this. You're absolutely right, Colin.
Yeah, that's why I say.
So long as you're seeing deception.
This is why I say question everything and research yourself. Believe everything and nothing at the same time.
What I'd like to say is
somebody said. Sorry, Rox. Just somebody said the other day, "Oh, really woke and drink like making open a Coke." You can actually be woke about Coke and how bad it is, and all the shit in it, and still actually drink it. I have done it, and I still do it. It's not. I don't drink Coca-Cola. I drink a different brand of Urban Cola. And I've stopped drinking this now because this just tastes like sweetener now. They changed the recipe.
Can I make an example here?
You know what's in sweeteners?
Can everyone hear me?
It's addictions, isn't it? Yeah, I can hear.
So
it's addictions to sugar and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So I'd like to respond to Chris Hayes, and Colin Turner. I also agree with Colin that woke is relative and no one's ever woke to anything. And I would be extremely concerned and worried if someone was pertaining to be woke to everything, because I think that's incredibly pompous, because, you know, who's awake to everything. So, yeah, I completely agree with that. And I would always say that in regards to what you were saying, Chris, in your opinion, nobody is woke. We're always learning. So as I read that, you're insinuating that people that say they're woke are stating they no longer need to learn. And I really don't appreciate, I just finished, I don't appreciate comments like that when they're not addressed. So I'm asking you to look, Chris, at the way you're wording that question. In your opinion, nobody's woke. We're always learning. You're insinuating with that statement that people are actually claiming that they're woke and don't need to. And then, can I finish? And then with Colin's comment afterwards, woke's relative, no one's ever really woke to everything, and we need to be humble and admit this, also makes it look like certain people aren't being humble, not admitting the fact that they're, you know, that woke's relative. And so again, it still insinuates that people are stating that they're woke so they no longer need to learn, which I know in the past has snowballed, and then people run with it, and then before you know it, we're all walking around thinking we don't need to learn anything because people have insinuated that. So I want to address that right now, that no one here is insinuating that they don't need to learn anything because they're really woke.
It's about being aware.
Because we know nothing. We know that we know nothing.
Here's a good example. I can be really woke to the fact that it doesn't exist and doesn't come in my house and give me magic presents under my tree. That was my parents that did that. Okay. I'm also really woke to the fact that the tooth fairy doesn't put money under my pillow. I'm also awake to the fact that the Easter Bunny doesn't exist either, and he doesn't put chocolate eggs in the garden for me to find. I'm using those as pretty primitive examples, but one can be woke to things, not fully woke in the sense that we don't need to learn anything else. But I'm hoping that I've clarified that for people that may have thought we were insinuating we no longer needed to learn because we're really woke in that sense. I think, you know, I think just to clarify things, to nip them in the bud before they snowball out of control. I think.
Yeah, because I think that's the problem, that people come over and assume things, you know, and they don't ask the questions. They don't ask us. They just assume and go off.
Questions, word them in a way.
Can I just say?
And divisive. Yeah.
Can I just say, you spot on, man. You've heard of wake and bake. This is woke and broke.
Yeah.
I wake and bake as well, though.
That's so funny.
It's about being aware. It's about being aware, experienced and surroundings. Like I think it was Flat Assassin just said. We're always learning. When you think you've got to the top of your think you know something, you'll be learning again, because that's what it is. We live in a bit of a school, but not the school that we were taught at.
Chris, what we're trying to do, mate, is we're trying to be constructive. We're trying to be constructive and grow and help each other grow. So
that's what it's about.
That's, you know, it's yeah, that's where you get a good answer like that off Roxanne.
Cheers, man. I appreciate that. I wasn't trying to get uppity or anything. I just thought let's address things when they come up, because I don't feel that we're being helpful when we don't. You know, if one makes questions or one makes questions in the chat room, if we can answer it, and we can answer it in an adult-like fashion, in a civilized fashion, that's how we're going to grow as people. Fundamentally, I don't think we're all going to agree on everything, and I don't think we need to agree on everything, because everyone, unless I'm wrong, everyone in the chat room knows they're not living on what they were taught. So at least we can all agree on that.
Sounds like the 1909 speech, doesn't it?
Oh, do you know, I was watching.
It really sounds like the 1909 speech.
It brought up that, and it was about, hold on. What was it to do with? It was to do with a play. A play. I'm going to remember while we're talking. I'm going to remember. I watched it last night on. It was either YouTube or Netflix. That's it. That's it. Okay. You're like this. King Tut. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Right. King Tut. Sorry, I know we've just changed gears a little bit.
As in Tutankhamun.
Hold on, my dog's like literally trying to get involved. I just got slightly excited, and Kenny's looking at me like, what's going on? So, right, King Tut. There was a play that was made about the unsealing of King Tut's tomb. Yeah, and the play, can't remember who did the play, but everyone that was involved in the play in some way, shape, or form got, as I said, cursed. I don't know. I'm being a bit general. But anyway, everyone that was involved in the play was affected, and I think either poisoned or died. And if anyone in the chat room can help me out here, this would be great. But guess when the play was?
When?
Don't say. 1909.
Yeah, 1909.
Why would they make a play about that in like don't start. See, I was on our notebooks.
In my little adjustment bureau.
I found myself watching it last night, King Tut. And something to do with the unsealing of the tomb. So that was just on a random one. That wasn't actually what I had written down here. But it got me to thinking, and we've got everyone in the chat room. There's 75 people watching just now. I'm not sure how many people there is in the chat room, but for those of you in the chat room and for you, Rich,
75.
I want to know what actually. I don't want to hear your whole testimony, right? I just want to know what stickler got you on your pursuit of truth, and this goes out to the chat room as well. You once upon a time were sleeping masses, as I was. What was the stickler that genuinely got you to just look at things differently?
Me was personally.
Come on.
Once upon a time, you were trundling along your life. Once upon a time, you were just a regular citizen, believing.
Me personally wasn't before I got on the old woohoo Q train. It was looking at the news and thinking, I'm sick of getting upset. I'm sick of crying. I'm sick of all this. Like, what is this on the news? Doom and gloom all the time. This negativity. Honest to God, even relationships and stuff, just stuff. But it was the news. I was just like, I don't understand. Like, why is it like this all the time? Then I stopped watching it, and then I fell into other things, and then I sort of found out. But it basically was negativity, doom and gloom, constant.
That was
constant.
That's what got you spending.
That's what got me switching the TV off and then looking about. It was mainly with the kids stuff, and you know, still kids starving, and these kids that are coming over on boats, and it was just like, why haven't we sorted most of this out? We're supposed to be moving on. We give all this money out apparently to charities, you know, Feed the World and all that we did years and years back, and it's just like, well, why is there no change really? What was it? I don't understand. I just couldn't fathom. I did literally sit there after a relationship breakdown as well, like, what's this all about? Where do I live? Why are we here? What's life all about? Literally. And then went off on me, then went off somewhere else to down some rabbit holes and stuff. So
that's where it's like for you.
Yeah.
That's where it's like for you.
Yeah, I'm a 9/11 thing, obviously, yeah.
Mm.
But that's the news again, isn't it? All that stuff congregating together and then being like, just don't get it.
No.
Do we know, obviously.
There's so many. Obviously, Africa is still starving. Geldof's rich. The
Shouldn't be like that. Shouldn't be like that.
Outer space, fake rockets. It's real talk. There's so many different people that say about the International Monetary Fund, getting them on their pursuit of truth. A lot of people are saying 9/11. A lot of people are saying 9/11.
Then you look at the number 11 as well.
What got you?
For me, it was a bit different. It was I had a friend who tried to show me, and that was back in 2009, 2010. He was trying to show me. I can't remember exactly what it was he was trying to show me, but it was basically, you know, it was all along these lines, and I thought he'd lost his mind. But I went through some heartbreak and hassle, and you know, ended up self-destructing and sitting there on my own in an apartment in Portugal, thinking, why is it all I want to do all the time is die? I just don't want to live anymore. And you know, I knew, like, I've got my history, but the thing is, I have come to terms. You know, I'd come to terms with certain things, and it wasn't that. It was more than that. So I started researching. I thought religion hasn't helped me because, you know, I tried to be a Christian, and I went to a Catholic church while I was in prison, and I studied with. Oh no, this is. I hadn't studied with the Jehovah's Witnesses then, but you know, I'd looked at Christianity and stuff. I wasn't interested in Judaism and Islam. When my grandfather died, he was Muslim, so it was a Muslim funeral, and the imam had a really serious talk with me about why I wasn't a Muslim, and said if I read the Quran, I'd become a Muslim. And I thought, I don't want to be a Muslim, so I'm not going to read the Quran. And then I thought, well, I'll research Buddhism, because it's the one thing that's not trying to tell you how to get to the afterlife. It's about being happy in this life. So I wasn't even a third of the way into the book or whatever it was I was reading, and it started talking about Nibiru, and
that's where I went.
Like that.
I went down the Planet X road because of the
So I went down the Planet X road first.
Pyramids.
Went down the Planet X road, and then the Planet X road took me to Jordan Maxwell and to Flat Earth, to and so yeah, I was. I mean, it was 3 years. In 2013, it all happened very quickly over a period of about 6 months. So I went from knowing that there was something wrong with the world, but not really knowing what it was, to suddenly thinking, wow, this makes sense now. That, you know, it doesn't, nothing makes sense, but it makes sense why it doesn't make sense now.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I find, even with my journey. As I've kind of peeled back the layers and I've gone through, I feel I've gone back and forth a couple of times. I've gone back around and come back around to the same subjects that I was looking into in 2008, 2009, because for me, the shape of the place that we lived in not being accurate was the shape.
Right, I just see Alex Jones being
the whole pyramid thing. Tesla, Nikola Tesla, not that Tesla.
The thing with Alex Jones and the shills, right, or whatever you want to call them, they're there because they have to be there, because they are not allowed to keep the truth from us. We have to be told, right? So if it's just controlled opposition and gatekeepers to keep us in paradigms, to keep us in boxes. So you've got
Alex Jones taught me a lot, but he's there because
Alex Jones taught me a heck of a lot, but I always hated him. I always saw through him.
Something else, and then it just takes you back round in a circle again.
I always said that Alex Jones was only in it to sell his merchandise and get rich off selling his merchandise. I always said that, even though he was speaking some truth, he was fear mongering more than anything else. He was fear mongering.
Yeah.
So
it's the fear that will
that's one of the things I recognised was people that were fear mongering. This is the thing, right? In this journey, all of us, me, you, and Roxanne, or me, you, and Dolly, depending which. I'm talking to me now. I can only see me on the picture.
Sorry, didn't mean to distract you. While you're distracted, Baron says having a shape suggests. Baron says having a shape suggests that we know Earth is an object floating in space.
It's an object floating in space.
We know Earth is. But any evidence of this? Sorry, I'm baffled.
It's that guy again. It's that guy again.
Having a shape says that there has to be something outside of that shape. If it's a sphere, there has to be something else. It means
but a shape is what we've been taught. A shape is what we've been taught, and what we've been taught is a lie. So just let go. Let go.
Because the whole I
think I knew a lot. All I knew was what I was taught. That's all I knew. It's all anyone knows is what you're taught.
What people have real difficulty with is getting out of one paradigm. They're desperately looking to climb into another box. That's why, you know, this flat Earth thing. So many people have jumped into the flat Earth bandwagon because they desperately need another paradigm to get into. People are really uncomfortable. It's almost like people feel like if they let go of the Earth, the globe, that they're just going to float away into space.
I know.
That, you know, if there's nothing, oh my God, no! But if it's not a globe and it's not flat, what is it? It's a cucumber. What's going on? It's a mind matrix.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what shape it is. It's whatever shape we make it, our collective consciousness.
Yeah, so Baron's agreeing. Point. Baron's agreeing. He's saying, yep, so let go of shape ideas is what I'm getting at. Yeah, that's where I'm coming from. I'm trying to I'm trying to get people to let go of what they've been taught.
It doesn't matter what shape it is.
Without giving people something
from different channels. Some people have come off different channels, and I know because I've noticed the names. Can I just say? And I've done videos, and everyone's on the path, and they'll say which one they think it is. I've said and drawn pictures where people have took the mick and put it on their videos to make people look stupid. I've never said I knew what it was. I've said I'd like this shape is what I'd like to think it was. That's different of how I think it would work. I'm not saying that is definitely the shape, but there are some out there that I like the look of and think in my mind maybe that's how it works. But I've never said that's for definite that's a shape because I haven't been up there to see and to look down. And that's where people come in and ask the questions, because there's lots of channels out there who are saying like you're evading the questions. They don't come in, they just come and do silly little videos and put stuff up. Some of the ones we do like to say this is the one I think I like it to be. I'm not saying that's what it is though. Just saying.
Yeah.
Everyone has a right to do that.
Does anybody, what I keep saying, I'm going to say it again and again and again and again until I'm blue on the face. It doesn't matter what shape the Earth is, because The only thing that matters is what you're doing while you're here. The earth is here and it's here for us, and that's all we need to know. You never need to go out of any, you don't need to go to Mars. You don't need to go to the moon. You need to go to work, right? You need to go to school, or what you need to get on with your day, deal with things as they're happening now and the people that are around you. The only thing that matters, and the only thing that you should concern yourself with, is how you're treating the people around you. Exactly. And how you're treating yourself, exactly. How much work you're doing on yourself, how much you understand yourself,
and
your reasons, why they get angry, why you're getting angry. Understanding that when you get angry and you shout at somebody, it doesn't matter if you feel justified or not. It's hurting the person, especially if it's like if you're in a relationship or something like that. When you die, do you think that you go up before the gates and you get judged or whatever, and they say, well, you were a bit of a wanker in your entire life, weren't you? You say, well, yeah, I know, but I thought the earth was round, and it's not. It's flat. If the earth had been flat, right, or if the earth had been a globe, then I would have been a decent person. But the shape of the earth isn't going to make any difference to your fucking behaviour. Who gives a toss what the sun's made of, right? If you're slapping your wife about or whatever. It's your behaviour, it's your actions, it's the way it's the energy that you're putting out to the other people around you, the people that you're affecting.
We don't need to know, like someone was saying they're a gardener and they grow tomatoes, and fruit and stuff. And they said, at a certain time of year, you plant your seeds. A certain time of the year, they come up. You know that the sun, helps and the moonlight helps and it starts growing. And at some point, when the tomato turns red, you can pick it and eat it. I don't personally need to know the molecular structure of the bloody tomato and the distance it is from the ground to the sun. All I need to know is, like this person said, it grows at that time, it needs the sun. When it's red, we eat it, boom. That's the most important. The rest of it isn't. And I just want to read out quickly what I read out before about Rich, you saying about, we're here to, basically it's about love is the film I was talking about, said, sometimes we have to ask for help. That's okay. I think the best thing we can do is to let people know that each and every one of them is precious. It only takes one person to inspire a world of kindness, because that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, the most hate I've got ever, especially when I come onto YouTube with the trolls that come on YouTube, which made me think, well, what are we living on, was when I opened my mouth about flat earth. Was like, well, what's this about then? Why is there so much hate? So there's something going on. And we mustn't be living on what we were told, because the amount of hate I got was actually off flat earthers saying they were flat earthers. Not even off the globe. So it was a bit like, what? Gatekeepers.
What about you? How was it for you? Because you made content initially. I only made content to start speaking about flat earth, but you made content before. What was it like for you after you started talking about it?
Well, before I spoke about it, I had, I don't know, about 170. I'd gone when I started creating, right? When I decided I was going to start creating videos on YouTube, it was to try and get in contact with Richie from Boston, because he said, I'm going to do a live stream with one of my subscribers on New Year's Eve, make a video for me, and and prove to me that it'll be worth doing it with you. So I made him a video. That's created on YouTube. When I started that, I had 33 subscribers. And I don't know where they came from or why they were there. I had 33 subscribers. I'd made a little tiny bit of content. I've made some videos, but it wasn't. I wasn't thinking about being a YouTube creator. I wasn't thinking about being a YouTube creator. I just made some videos and put them on YouTube.
Yeah,
but yeah, when I became a creator, and I was talking about was talking about all this sort of stuff. I was looking into the religious side of it a little bit more, and then I started talking about flat Earth and globe lie, and I made the Alan Chalmers came over, didn't he? I met Alan in the weed calf with his P900 camera. Said, "Rah, you know what you can do with that?" And he was like that with his flat Earth t-shirt on. And I said, "We got to make a video, man, and put it on YouTube." So we did that, and Simon Dan pounced on it and got me about 300 subs. Nice one, Si. Cheers, mate. Oh, and by the way, mate, it's still the same. It still proves that there's no curvature, and you're still wrong.
See it there. You see it there. No night coffee pool.
No.
I know you can't keep your eyes open. It's late night Saturday night, really woke show, late show. Now it's the late show. It's normally really woke show on a Saturday morning, but as you can see, it's late on a Saturday night here in the UK. It is 1:15 in the UK, and it's 1:15 in the Canary Islands. Rich is on the same time.
I'm trying to keep my eyes open.
I know, me too. But this is well worth it because we don't do this very often, guys.
Well, those who know don't sleep, you know. Gotta be done.
That's right. And you know what? As I said at the very beginning, a lot has happened in the last couple of weeks. And we haven't really properly had an opportunity to kind of fill Rich in on everything that happened at the Really Woke Show meetup last week. Obviously, as you know, last week was the Globe Light Tourathon, which was a 24-hour tourathon to raise funds for the European part of the tour, which kicks off on the 29th of August. The European aspect of the tour is going to be kicking off from the 16th of August when I, Roxanne the Globalist, and I take over the camper van and charge it through the countries of Europe all the way up to Bulgaria, where I'll be handing it over to Ranty Flat Earth. And Ranty Flat Earth will be taking it along to Adam at Prime Real Media, Adam Meakin. And then Adam will be taking it and giving it back to me, where I will be driving it home. So we did the tourathon for that. We raised some brilliant amount of funds, amazing amount of support from people, and we kicked off the advertising campaign for channels to take part in an opportunity to circumnavigate the internet censorship and get your channel on the side of the camper van to go almost 15,000 miles all around Europe, which is also going really well as well. I'm not sure how close we are to getting to the back, not very far. If you want to find out more information on that, please take a look at the description where you'll see all the links and more info there for you, and bits and pieces to start your journey on researching the Globe Lie and to donate to the 2019 Euro Globe Lie Tour. So that was all going on last week, Rich. Okay, you were doing your gig. We were out in the middle of Stockport. We were having the Really Woke Show live.
My hometown.
I tried my best to do the live link with you prior to you going to your gig, and it just didn't go that way, bruv. It just didn't go that way. I ended up having to do the live link from my phone because I could not get a strong enough signal using the hotspot on my laptop. I was hoping to use a laptop so I could invite you, and it just went on the phone, and it was like 40 minutes, not even a couple of hours. And
it was noisy in there as well. It was noisy, wasn't it?
We definitely did what we could. But with that being said, we want to try and bring you up to speed now publicly because a lot happened. First of all, we'll start off at the beginning of the day. No, how about we start off the day before the beginning of the day? Because I was supposed to be at your house early evening, had car issues, didn't end up getting to Dolly's until about midnight. And like, this is what I wanted to say to you. See, from the second that me and Dolly linked up, we thought we were going to speak to Anthony. We thought we were going to speak to you. We thought we were going to have time to speak to everybody. And it just didn't go like that. We were up until about stupid o'clock. It was stupid o'clock. And we were talking to Rachel Pixie, and like it literally felt like 20 mintes, and it was like 3.5, 4 hours. Be it that I'd never met Rachel before. And
well, when you came at 12:30 midnight, it wasn't like, "Hi, Roxanne," because like we've been speaking, but we haven't met in the flesh. Like, "Hi, but I'm going to bed now because it's really late." So when Rachel went to bed, me and you sat up till about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, blah, 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 blah. And then what happened in the morning? I get up. Oh, no electric, no Wi-Fi, no hot water. No, I'm like, oh my God, I need to wash my hair.
She's not exaggerating. She's literally not exaggerating. It was like flatline.
Adjustment bureau, like what the hell? Like we need tea in the morning, we need a coffee, we need to wash our hair, we're going to a meet-up. What the
woman's last worst nightmare, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and then my mum comes in. Imagine this, Rich.
Ding dong, ding dong,
like,
literally, ding dong.
Oh God, the mother's
we were like 3 teenagers running around the house going, "Quick, don't panic! Why panicking?
Like,
don't panic!
My mum's here."
She's like, "I'm coming to cut your grass," and I thought she's coming to check because she wants to make sure the house isn't getting messed up by us all. So she's in the garden. Next minute, Tapper comes, Tapper 77, and he's like, "Oh, your mum's in back garden. I'll go and say hi to her." My mum doesn't know anybody. She's not interested in anything that's going on. She just sees this man coming towards her, and I'm like trying to shout her, but she's got a strimmer out cutting the grass. She can't hear. She's like looking at me like this, thinking, "Who's this guy?" But then she was chuffed because Tapper helped cut all of the grass, and she was very glad that he cut the grass. And then what did Kenny decide to do, Roxanne, was when we were just on the last minute to leave?
Yeah, so Kenny decided, I know, while my mum's distracted and talking to Tapper and trying to talk to Rachel and trying to get ready, I'm just going to chew through my lead. Yeah, so Kenny literally chewed through the lead, and I'm walking around now saying to Dolly, "Dolly, do you have any string? Dolly? Dolly?"
I'm like, "I've got my needle and my thick thread. Let's sew this up because we're getting to that place." To
literally 20 minutes to get there at this point. Like literally 20 minutes to get there, and we're not even ready. We're not ready, innit? We're not ready. Like, we're not ready. Seriously, not ready. And then, yeah, we literally just finished tying up sorting out the lead, got into the car. And then at that point, we were like, wow, we were going to go live this morning. We were actually going to go live, and we were going to tell everybody that what we were doing. And Dolly's in the back of the car, and she was like, "Okay, I'll do a quick live now and tell everyone we're going." And I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to go. But we're going. Rachel's in the back. Tapper's in the back. My passenger's door decided to pack in. So all of you were in the back, right? All 3 of you were in the back.
Yeah.
And I had Kenny in the front of the car with me. And we proceeded on into Stockport, upon which we parked the car and we went to the venue, and we thought it's probably going to be a ghost town. It's probably just going to be us there. It's probably, 2 people turn up.
But we had to sit outside with our hair like this. With the wind.
What was going on?
We had to sit outside with the dog. We were like,
It was like a force 9 gale. It was literally like a force 9 gale. Like both of us put hair bubbles in our hair, only for the wind to blow, like literally her ponytail up. The wind was that bad. And so there was a good few people, and I know there's a lot of people that wanted to be a nun, right, Dolly? So it's not about us actually naming the people that were there.
No, but hi to everybody that was.
Yeah, the people that were there.
You know the truth.
Awesome people that turned up, and we literally kicked it off at 2 p.m. and we had a brilliant time at the produce hall. And then
how long did we stay at the produce hall? We were in there from about
6 hours. Yeah.
6 hours.
So I was while you were there at 2 o'clock. While you were there at 2 o'clock, I didn't realise you were starting at 2, and I woke up about 1 o'clock, and I laid down and thought, I got to about 6 o'clock, and I knew my phone. I'd left my phone at work, and I was like, it's all right. I got till 6 o'clock. I'll go and get it later. And then when I finally got to my phone and I messaged you, and it had all been and gone, I'd missed it. I was like, no.
Well, yeah, there was a part where we were in there till about 8 o'clock. There was a part where Roxanne had to leave just to drop some stuff up at my house and collect some other stuff and then come back again. But we were in there for about 2 till 8.
Yeah.
We went.
And then
I caught some of the live. I caught some of the live stream. It was really cool, man. Because I saw Red Pill Phil and Tapper, and it was brilliant, man. That was brilliant. I loved what Red Pill
coming out soon of what he thought about the whole thing.
Really loved what he said.
You've got to give everyone the backstory of that.
It meant
you've got to give everyone the backstory.
It meant a lot. It actually meant a lot to me what he said. About what he was saying. I think it was Dolly. I can't remember who he was walking with, but he said, what got. No, it was you, Rox, wasn't it? When we were saying about what got him most, what really struck him most, it was really profound. Was he could feel the energy, he could feel the love.
Yeah, there was
amongst everybody. There. Everybody was unity amongst everybody there. Right, it was like a family. an instant, you know, everybody was connected and felt comfortable and felt welcome.
We were all looking after each other. It wasn't a flat earth meet-up. It was a woke meet-up, meaning whatever level you're at of, you know, knowing, we just all know that we've been lied to. That's what it was about. But it was also about people coming to meet me and Roxanne. And if we'd have got double on, and if you were here double, to see that we are who we say we are behind the camera. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the feedback we got back, was beautiful. And that's why when we got back the day we were videoing, when we got upset on camera, when we were filming at mine, we were upset because, even though we explained ourselves anyway, because we were overwhelmed with the people that came, the amount of love that was given out to us for meeting people, and what people were actually saying in our chat that night when we were upset, because people were saying we've helped them, and that's what it's all about, kindness. You know, nothing else.
I'm not going to mention who it was, just for because you know I don't want to give too many details about. But you remember what you told me about that person who'd started listening in a really, really dark place, and said that it was the person that was started listening in February, I think, was in a really, really dark place when they started listening, and it was listening to us three that pulled him out of his.
Yeah, thank you, Ricardo. Because some people were trying
like
to
when you were telling me, but when you told me about that, like when you told me about that, I don't know, I felt it, and it
There's
was
people that literally told us that.
That's why we're doing this, isn't it? That's the only reason we're doing this stuff.
Yeah, that's the only reason for your positivity, because you see the lies, you see the heinous stuff that's going on, but you have to see this to know what you want and to start working on yourself and work towards being in the light, being loving, being kind. These people told us that. That's the reason we was upset. Nothing else that some people have put out there, because we were getting fabulous feedback and we were getting affected by, you know, in a good way. It was happy tears because we were just overwhelmed with it. And they were, you know, it was
there must have been about 25 or 30 people there.
Yeah, you know, coming in and coming out. And I do believe there was some there. I know there was some there that were anonymous. I know.
Yeah, there was. It was an excellent turnout, way more than I could have ever anticipated. And so many new people that had contacted us through Facebook, people that had brought their friends with them, people that come with their wives, their husbands, different people from all walks of pursuits of truth, not just necessarily the globe lie. Yes, everyone sat around there knew that what they've been taught a lot was a lie, but the tangent of conversations that went off from there were awesome. It was a brilliant vibe, and I can't wait for the next one. And off the back of that, we've already had some really big ideas for next year, for 2020. So please watch this space, because
it wore us out in a good way.
There were people that were confident to come to this that weren't confident to come to Flat Earth meetups or Globe Lie meetups for that you know, for that.
And there's people like said in the chat, of her comfort zone to go to the meetup, and you know, it was a nice surprise for her. It was the fact that that's the thing, is a lot of people came, because I'm sure there were just Rachel, people that came out of their comfort zone to go and mingle with essentially strangers, really, because, you know, until you actually meet somebody, you don't know if they're for real, do you?
No. I just want to give a massive shout out to John Smith Globe Live, because without him and without his content and without him being the benevolent person he is, I wouldn't be where I am today. And that doesn't go without saying all the other people that have been involved, but people like yourself, Rich, who were speaking to me before I even kind of had contact with Harry, and you saw that transition from me being a kind of what
was crazy, man. Rox, that was crazy. You went from being Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that you were doing content, because you were watching my stuff and you commented on my videos, and I hadn't seen any content from you, and then I saw, then you just, oh, yeah, it was like Globe Live. That
He
was
really gave me the confidence to not only put my head above the parapet, but put my head way above the parapet. He allowed me to, and what I mean by allowed, he kind of cleared the way, if that makes sense. That it felt to me at the time that there were so many variables, so many hurdles, so many obstacles for me going from where I am sat here right now to actually going out onto the street in a safe environment with information that wasn't misleading or going to take people down a path that was going to be a dead end. And I initially went out to my local town, like the equivalent to Stockport for you, Dolly, like a walk away from my house. Walk away, right? I went to Richmond and Kingston, which are my two local towns I've grown up in since I was 4. So for me to do that, do you know whose house I went outside first and foremost, though, Dolly? And double. My man from Adjustment Bureau, Matt Damon. His yard. Imagine that. But went out there with Harry, and then I went out to London. I met Ruben and went on like a whirlwind tour of London, taking the banner to all sorts of places, and then linking up with Trinity 4 and going back out with Harry and going to London Bridge and going to all of these various locations. Crystal Palace Park. We went there and we did a massive piece of activism there and wrote chalk everywhere and put the banners up everywhere, and we had people looking from far. Do you know what? Everyone that's watched the content, including, I could be here all night giving you feedback from what's gone down over the last 18 months, but there has been a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. And I without the help of my children, without the support of my friends and certain family members and you guys, but I wouldn't be sat where I'm here now. So I can't thank you all enough for that. And
can I just say as well, Roxanne,
Harry, as well, and to Jason, and to Robin, to Liftin The Lid, and to everyone else that I've collaborated with. Thank you.
The 2 people that came back full circle from when I was looking at stuff was you, Roxanne, and Red Pill Phil. We go to the meeting, I'm meeting you, and I got Red Pill Phil, and Red Pill Phil literally lives 2 minutes away from me, and I never knew. I mean,
you couldn't make that up, could you? You literally couldn't make that up. Round the corner. And like, how many people at the meetup ended up going, "Oh, I know, I was born in the same area as you."
That's how mad it was. Link ups, connections. Everyone's like born in the same hospital with that and the other. It was all like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So
you literally, you can.
But remember when we came back and we were talking till 6 o'clock in the morning, because that's why I was crying as well.
That was like that was a horrendous time.
1 hour's sleep from the whole.
That was
weekend.
a horrendous time of the morning.
What happened in the morning though, Roxanne, with the whole iceberg scenario?
Oh, that news clip that we saw. The news clip that we saw.
Whoa.
You know what they say? What like it, whether that was staged or not, it's another story. All right. You can't corroborate whether it was staged, but whether it was staged or not. Shall I show it? Shall I show it? Will I just show it? It's on my phone now. I'll show it. All right.
Knowing that the elites, or whatever you want to call them, are not,
you know what? If we get a strike for this, I'm not even playing.
They're not in comms with each other, but they're communicating through mainstream media. So guess what we saw? And listen to the words.
Okay. Boy. Yeah. So. I'm trying to think of how I can get it close enough to the actual. All right, let me see.
Swimming to Italy instead of staying on the boat.
Okay, hold on.
This was a frantic swim for the shore. The video shows.
Hold on. Yeah. I got it. So I'm going to do this, guys.
You have to listen to the words that are used as well.
Right, I'm going to try and have it up so that you can hear it.
You can hear it.
Pursued in the water by crew.
Get the iceberg bit.
Instead of staying on the boat.
Oh, sorry, my language. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can see and hear. Hold on, if I turn it up a bit.
Swimming to Italy instead of staying on the boat.
This was a frantic swim for the shore. The video shows 4 migrants in orange life vests.
You can't really see, but you can hear it.
Pursued in the water by crew from the ship they were escaping from, but were taken back to. These were the scenes this weekend on board that ship. The humanitarian vessel called the Open Arms had rescued more than 100 migrants off the
Red Cross were involved as well.
It's now forbidden to dock off the Italian island of Lampedusa. The ship's operators described conditions on board as untenable.
We have been warning for days. People jump into the water, fights, violence, panic, anxiety, crisis. What else do we need? Dead people? This is unsustainable. Unsustainable.
The Open Arms sits stranded 300 meters from the shoreline, watched over by an Italian police vessel. Some migrants have disembarked. This weekend, Italy's Coast Guard has been sent in to take 27 miners off the ship.
With the Red Cross.
This was a concession by the man who's forbidden the rest to come ashore. Italy's far-right Interior Minister Matteo Salvini said he'd only allowed youngsters off the vessel at the insistence of his country's Prime Minister. He said he doubted the credibility of claims of suffering on board.
In queste ore le abbiamo viste di tutti i colori.
In the past few hours, we have seen just about everything from these people on the ship. It's a shame, a global shame. Fake sick people who, when they were visited, were not sick. The doctor in charge of medical services in Lampedusa said that, and he was attacked.
Dice di Lampedusa che è stato attaccato.
The handling of this humanitarian issue reflects the breakdown in Italy's ruling coalition.
What did we see, Roxanne? Because we saw them say about the iceberg, and they said the structure's fallen down, and we were like, yeah, they're trying to communicate through.
Oh yeah,
like through mainstream media.
For a glacier that experts say is the first you can.
No, I didn't quite catch it. Darn it.
And then, the first bit before the kids was a picture of an iceberg melting, and they used the words, the structure is falling down, because we all know, their structure is falling down. And then we had...
I don't have a link, Tapper. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to find a way. I'll find a way to try and put the
And then we had the kids on the boat, and some people could look at that like, oh, yeah, it's because they're trying to post-migrate. It's like, no, the kids were swimming frantically, like they wanted to get away from that boat. More like, I think, trafficking or something. And it's like they're keeping the boat in the water so maybe the media can see what's going on, because on the Q side, they have been shouting out, watch the water, even though there's lots of things going on the water, Epstein and what's under the water. So water's quite a big thing at the minute. So just saying we saw something. I don't know if anyone saw it. It was on Sky News, but it was at stupid o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's silly. Just after 4 a.m.
Yeah, it was.
It's just after 4 a.m. So yeah, I will try and.
It was Sky News though, so you should be able to find it.
It's a couple of minutes long, so I might be able to pop it onto my Instagram after this. So I'll do my best to do that, and I'll try and get a. There isn't a name of the video. I recorded it off of the mainstream media as it
because it's not drugs that's the biggest money maker. It's the children.
Yeah, it was literally just a clip off of the mainstream media off my laptop. I filmed the screen on my laptop for Sky News, and obviously I know the mainstream media puts out a lot of disinfo, so I'm just trying to decipher
and
it.
The iceberg was in Antarctica.
Seeing something and saying something.
The iceberg was in Antarctica, and they were saying about it's because of the global warming. We all know that's fake. It was they were communicating to each other. The structure. Why would you use the word structure on an iceberg? The structure is falling down.
We may as well have this out now, innit? May as well just have it out now, innit?
So
go on then.
Well, that's up to you. Don't talk to me about that,
I was waiting for you to.
been on it 3.5 years, mate. So
I'll tell you what. Do you
Okay.
know what the better thing to happen in this situation would be? For me to answer.
Go on.
That's okay.
Trouble
Well,
about.
Go easy, because she's a nice lady. She's a nice lady. I've spoken to her.
No. Well,
I'm vouching for her because I've been on panels with her, so I'm vouching for her.
Trouble about.
She's an independent critical thinker, right? Who just doesn't agree.
Listen, trouble about. I'm an independent critical thinker as well, and I woke up in 2013. Right, so when Q came around in 2017, I was on it. On the very, very first Q post, I was on it, but I was on it with Unirock, and he discredited Q sufficiently for me to get off the Q train, right? And I just watched it going along, bubbling away for a couple of years, and then I met Dolly, right? And I already knew Roxanne, and I knew Roxanne was really into Q, and I thought, well, do you know what? I'm not gonna say anything because I respect Roxanne, and I actually respect that she's an intelligent person. So okay, you know, let her get on with it. She didn't try and ram it down my throat. You never spoke about it, really, did you? We never spoke about it.
No, I didn't shove it down your throat, brother. I did speak about it if I had an opportunity to, but I wouldn't kind of force it.
Yeah, but it wasn't. No, and you sort of knew where I stood with it because of Unirock. Yep. And so you never tried to force it on me. And then you introduced me to Dolly, and Dolly is obviously a big Q fan. Not as big a Q fan as a JFK Jr. fan, but you know, she can't marry Q.
Well, you know.
So I can see, right? I can see that it doesn't matter what Q is, right?
Exactly.
Whether Q really is somebody that sat right there near the president, or if what I think is actually it's a very real possibility that Q is something to do with JFK Jr. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Q is just a bunch of YouTubers, right, who haven't got any link at all. Haven't got any link at all to the POTUS or to anything. What matters is it's actually making people think differently, and it's making normal people like Dolly, who Dolly's really normal in comparison to me. I am not normal in any way, shape, or form. So I've always been a fucking weirdo who's been into this sort of stuff.
I'm not normal.
But Dolly wasn't. But I mean, you were more. I don't want to say that you were more asleep than me, you know. So, but we were just in totally different places. Because I had my car crash in 2000, so I already thought I was in a new universe. Right, 16 years before.
Can I ask everyone in the chat room a question? And this is just me primitively asking questions. So, does everyone believe in what the international leaders are saying? Does everyone not think that that's a circus and puppetry? And does everyone just
pantomime
kind of passively accept what's being done? Or do people think that international leaders are puppets? So if the chat room thinks international leaders aren't puppets, press 1. If the chat room thinks international leaders are puppets, please press 2.
Astro King has just made a great comment, and that's what Q is about. The purpose of Q is to get you thinking. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Question everything.
Exactly. And this is the point I was trying to make. It doesn't matter what Q is. It doesn't matter what, you know. The whole point is I can see that it's actually waking people up. And it's only because of Q that Dolly found that. Yeah. That was only because of Q. It was Q that put Dolly onto the live.
Thank you.
Right. So with that being said, okay, to those of you that press 2 that say that international leaders are puppets, can I ask you a question? Please press 1 if you think those puppets have puppet masters, and press 2 if you don't think they have puppet masters. So press 1 now if you think they have puppet masters, and press 2 if you don't think they have puppet masters. So a lot of you are clued up enough to know that they have puppet masters. Okay.
Can I just say as well, they wouldn't, someone said to me, well, why didn't it get out on mainstream media? They couldn't put the stuff out on mainstream media because what is mainstream media? The enemy of the people.
Okay.
So they have to put in
mainstream media is gin.
Okay, so Puppet Masters 1. Yeah. Okay. So can the chat room now indulge me by just throwing in some names for who you think them puppet masters are? And I just want to hear people's feedback. I've got my own feedback. I personally think 3 of the puppet masters are the Soros family, the Rothschilds family, and the House of Saud. No, I'd go for the House of Saud.
The Rockefellers are the
House of Saud. Yeah, they're up there, but I don't think they're the puppet masters. I think it's the trifecta of fuckeries, as I call it, and it's the House of Saud, the Rothschilds, I think, and the who did I say?
I actually think Rockefellers are above them on the team.
What's their names? The Saud, Rothschilds, and
I think there's
who was the other one? I can't remember now. Wait, just remember. Wait.
Soros.
Yeah.
Soros.
So can the chat room indulge me? Those are who I think the puppet masters are. And I've seen a lot of evidence pertaining to the fact that that is most probably legit. So yeah, I think. Do
you know what?
Say something. Flat Assassin.
Do you know what I think about?
Jesuits are the puppet masters. Yeah. Okay, so that's a decent statement, but I'm asking to start getting down to the specifics of things. Yeah. And with that being said, who do you reckon the puppet masters? JP Morgan's decent, but you're not high up the rankings enough with that.
It's not.
Can you find out?
Listen, and it's not the Jesuits.
Yeah,
it's not the Jesuits.
The Bilderberg group.
It's not the Jesuits. It's the
yeah. That's the Crown. Nicely done, Rachel.
Right, but the Bilderberg group and the Trilateral Commission are they're groups of people, and you've got all different types of people. They're the think tanks.
And do you know what they go back to?
They're Nazi think tanks. They go back to the Nazi war. They go back to the Second World War. They are.
Yeah, there in the middle. It's numbers. Bilderberg Group 1954. Remember that is Project Paperclip, Nazi US citizenship.
I'll say it before, I'll say it again. 1909, Expedition Nimrod and the North Pole Expedition. They claimed the North and the South Pole. And then they tried to start the think tanks the year after. And with that, they started the Chatham House Rule, the Bilderberg meetings. And that's where they've been ever since, the Trilateral Commission, the narrative. That's who pumps out the narrative, right? The international think tanks. So I find that extremely interesting, guys. I find it all extremely interesting. But I do feel that it goes back to the elites. It goes back to the international puppet masters. So with that being said,
and at the top is the Vatican.
To WikiLeaks, I saw that there definitely was some disinformation on WikiLeaks. However, there was a lot of information that if you were, discerning enough and you were able to sift through it and learn how to read the map, because let's face it, whoa. Right. So I have no idea. So what use is, I had to mute you for a second, 00, because I don't know what that noise was in the background, bro. With that being said, what use is a map without a legend? It's really difficult to read a map without a legend. You've got to have some kind of landmark to work with. Sorry, I'll unmute you now, bro.
Yeah, sorry, I was feeding Alfie.
No worries. It sounded like you were using a pneumatic drill.
I'm gonna have to fall out at 2.
Yeah.
I'll get a look at
been going for that long. Yeah. Sorry, my link. Sorry. So, yeah.
Can I just say something?
Go for it.
Who was it said that there's the Jesuits and Jesuit assassins, right? It's not the Jesuits, all right? It's the bloody Sabbatean Jews. It's the crypto fake Jews. The ones that follow Sabbatai Zevi. Right? The ones that are doing the redemption through sin. That's the people that are in power. That's what they are. They're not Jesuit, they're Jewish.
It says divide and conquer.
But they're not the real Jewish. They're the Talmud. They're the Talmud reading Jewish.
Yeah, the Kazari Mafia, the fake
Ricardo as well, because Ricardo's right. A legend is how you teach a child to read a map, and look how primitive most of the sleeping masses are. Look how they've literally got to get spoon-fed.
Oh, really? Who's in chat? Could you listen and stop hating on the Jews, the Kazari Mafia fake Jews? So can you get your thing right in chat?
Yeah, please? That's the thing. I'm not hating on the Jews. Sorry, that's the trouble. See, this is how clever they are. This is how clever they are. Right? They started the bloody Second World War. They funded the Second World War, and they've managed to create this anti-Semitic label. You say anything about the Jewish people? Oh God, woe betide you. I have nothing against Jewish people. Do you know what I have? I have a problem with the fake Jews. Now, if you're in Sabbatai Zevi's camp, right, and if you know who that is, and you're in that camp, then you probably need to go out of this chat room.
Exactly.
You probably don't need to ever come back to this channel if that's what you are. If you're a Sabbataian Jew, if you're a Sabbatai Zevi following Jew, then leave. Okay. Because if you're reading the Torah, and you're actually a real Jew, then much love to you, man. No problem with you at all.
Roseanne Barr.
Wow.
I actually think that the real Jewish people, the ones that read the Torah, probably have it most right. They're probably, because that's the oldest scriptures. They're the ones that have been reading it longer than us. That we just had a bit of a disagreement about who Jesus Christ was, and that all might just be a whole bloody reset thing anyway. So, you know,
secret societies.
I watched Doreen. What's her name? Doreen Dotan. I'm subscribed to Doreen Dotan. She's Jewish. She's in Sfat in Israel, and she's always, oh my God, I get really annoyed with her, man, because she really hates on Christians. She really hates on Christians. So everybody can get up on their bloody high horses and say, "Oh, don't get racist." I'm an English person living in Tenerife, a Spanish province. Right? I lived in Portugal before that. Do you know where the most racism is? Towards English people, towards English white people. So, you know, everybody can just get off their high horses. Get off your high horses. Stop labeling everything, and understand that none of us know anything. We've all been lied about everything, so we just need to stop.
Yeah, it's like the community story about who was enslaved first. We're all enslaved, so it doesn't matter what colour skin.
We're all enslaved now. We're enslaved right now.
So people need to realise.
And actually, this is another thing. This is going to trigger people, right? But if you do your research, you find out that white people have been sold way more than black. Far more white people have been sold into slavery than black. So, you know, let's get our facts straight before we go chucking around stones and stuff.
But that's the whole thing with going on about the past and not thinking, how can we fix it now, because we live in the now. We can go on about the past as much as we want. We do look there, we do want to research it, but the thing is, that isn't going to help us. It's about now, and this is why we're doing what we're doing, with a bit of positivity and some laughs on the way, because you need that, you know.
Trouble.
Yeah, well said.
Not all Aussies are racist, right? There's horrific, terrible racism towards the Aborigine people, right? Who I'm sure they're not actually called
You're
Aborigine.
Keep going on,
they've actually got a name. They've got. I'm sure they've got their own name that's not Aborigine. What do they call themselves? Like the Maori. There's the Maori.
The what? Oh yeah.
But if you think about it phonetically, Aborigine. It's like not original or something.
Well, apparently down in my family line somewhere, there's supposed to be Aborigine. Now I'm just saying.
Oh really?
But then again, I don't really. Yeah, apparently, I don't know much about my linear line.
Well, we've been rolling for about an hour and a half now. It's like obscene o'clock now. It's like coming up to 2 o'clock in the morning. So I think we're going to start wrapping it up soon. So for all of you that are trying to stay awake in the UK and are on GMT time, we're coming up to the end of the stream. And if there's anything that you haven't catched already, there's a bit more information in the description for you. And is there anything you guys want to wrap up with before we close it down for the night?
It's just because I just want to say because Ricardo's put in about yeah, he doesn't care about colour, he cares about character.
Yeah.
And people will say that maybe I'm being racist or whatever.
No.
I'm a quarter Algerian. My grandfather was a black Muslim. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I think Ricardo was just saying he doesn't care about colour. None of us do. We're all one.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that to Ricardo.
My dad decided to come out with that his biological dad is from Egypt.
So Egypt, a bit of Aboriginal.
So our lineage. We haven't talked about this, have we? We should mention this as quickly. What we were saying about our lineage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can touch on.
But our lineage is right next door.
All right, listen. I'm all right to stay awake. I'm all right to stay awake. Dolly wants to go to bed at 2 o'clock, right?
Yes, because Finn will be up at 6 o'clock.
Are you awake, Rich?
Yeah, I'm wide awake.
Press 1. Press 1 if you want us to wrap up the show and all of us go to bed. Right? And press 2 if you want me and Double O to carry on, even though Dolly wants to go sleep. If you want us to carry on, I've got some more bits and pieces to talk about, which I'm happy to talk about. And if you want us to go sleep, so press 1 for us all to shut down and go sleep, and 2 for me and Double O to stay going, even though the lovely Dolly is going to go and catch some beauty sleep.
Yes, because little legs will be up at 6.
2 to carry on, 1 to shut down. 2 to carry on, 1 to shut down. 2 to carry on, 1 to shut down.
Yeah,
Colin's doing lights out, party done, everything lock off. Everything.
You'll just have to come back in the morning and rewatch that bit you've missed.
Colin's going, go to bed, man, go to bed. I don't even know what that accent that is.
I can carry on another 5 minutes while I finish my green tea and then I'm out.
Okay, all right. Well, if you're going to carry on another 5 minutes,
NZD says 3 and Dolly says
3.
Hey, you know what I'm like? I'm just coming on for a little chat for 10 minutes. 2 hours later.
Well, Colin, we do agree, right? But we have this sort of thing. We have done it before, where people have had to leave halfway through the show. So long as all 3 of us are there for a portion of the show, it's still the show. Yeah. So.
I'll be there in spirit, don't worry. I'll be there in the astral traveling.
But we have an unswerving amount of 2s in the chat room as well. So we the people.
I don't mind.
People. And then at least Dolly can go sleep listening to us.
Yeah. Soldier on.
So with that being said, Dolly, what have you seen this week that has really stuck out in your head that you thought, you know what, I've seen something, so I'm going to say something. Over to you, Dolly, in South Manchester, there in Stockport. What's going on the ground with you, DollyDayDream?
Now I have to think now because I'm half asleep. The Ginsberg thing. That's quite funny.
We got some evidence for being alive.
I think she's dead, she's alive, she's dead, she's alive. Oh, is she this, is she that? I think she went a little bit ago, but they're trying to spin that round, aren't they? Because they want to make out she's still there because they still want her in, but you know, she's going. This is just quite funny. The other funny little thing was when Trump, you know, in chat, I'm not bothered if you like him or not, I'm not really interested, you know. It was just when he turned around and said, yeah, I'm the chosen one, and looked up, and I was like, that's going to so trigger the media. Next day, they asked the question, didn't they?
I got to say, right, in the President of the United States' defense, right, he said when he looked up to the sky and jokingly said, I am the chosen one, at a press conference 2 days ago, and I quote, talking on trade with China, little did I realize that the media would claim that I had a messiah complex. They knew I was kidding, and I quote, being sarcastic and just having fun. I was smiling, and as I looked up and around, the many reporters with me were smiling also. They knew the truth, and yet when I saw the reporting, CNN, MSNBC, and other fake news outlets covered it as serious news, and me thinking of myself as the messiah, no more trust.
But look at that for a Ginsburg robot head. I mean,
also, I'd just like to quickly say here, an Arizona college English professor comes.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, for showing students a 14-minute QAnon's conspiracy theory video. Babbling claim.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I just? I just want to clear something up very quickly.
Yeah.
Just very quickly. I really, perhaps you didn't hear me. Right? Perhaps you didn't hear me properly, because I very, very clearly stated that I don't have a problem with.
No, it's just a troll.
I love them. I think they're great, but I have a problem with the Sabbatean Jews. So, say it again, do it again, and I'll personally kick you out and go and do and say whatever you want, think whatever you want, spread whatever crap you want, okay? But don't try and twist what I'm saying, because that just makes you look like an extremely ignorant muppet.
Because we've just explained it.
Yeah.
I've just explained it very clearly, very, very clearly to you. Okay, so don't be a twat.
And I'd like to respond to Ricardo as well. Does one person control the world? No, but I do think we're seeing a few people now stepping up, and we're now witnessing the beginning of the systemic takedown of the old guard, whatever the old guard is. It looks like a deep, sick, messed up, satanic. These people are sick. They worship the thought of Satan. If there is a thought of Satan, they worship it. And I think we're now seeing the international takedown of the old guard.
Yeah.
I don't think one person controls the world, or does one person? I mean, that's an interesting question. I want to know everyone else's thoughts. I thought I'd answer it first. But Dolly, does one person control the world?
One person? One person control the world.
So I'd also like to ask this as well. I've just got to play this real quick because...
Sorry, I'm just looking for something.
A lot of people are saying that this might be disinfo, but there are people... where was it? Don't you literally...
Can I just throw out there as well, because this is what I saw in the news as well about the QAnon baby.
Go for it.
I was going to show it then. The QAnon baby, because they're trying to put out on Sky News yet again, QAnon, the far-right conspiracy movement, gaining prominence in the Donald Trump's America. Because you remember the little baby that was at the rally?
Yeah.
And he had a Q on his romper suit thing. It was on his back. The reason it was on his back, because they all know that the media is at the back. So when the baby was held up, the media went straight on it. Trump said, what a beautiful baby. It got caught in, because soon the question will be asked. So it's the media again saying that QAnon are terrorists. Okay, not Antifa then. And saying that, yes, it's a far right conspiracy movement. There again, that's the mainstream media saying that. So what does that say? Just saying.
I think I found it, guys. I think, yeah. So I found a video that shows protesters in Hong Kong that are seen tearing down facial recognition poles in the city as they strive for their freedom and independence for the city from mainland China. Around 90,000 people just in a month have been prevented from traveling on the train. People have been prevented from getting air flights anywhere. I'm just going to show this up close to the camera, so hopefully you'll be able to see it. Let me just reload it. Whoops. I don't think there's any sound.
Yeah. People are fed up.
I've got some more here.
People have had enough.
Where is this?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Oh, fucking military coming, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I've got some videos I took on my phone as well, actually. I'm just going to get them up. Hold on.
That's why I say if people don't look around the world at what's happening, the structure is falling down because everybody worldwide has had enough of being controlled. Why is she back in again?
Who?
People who were trying to cause trouble.
Who?
Well,
who?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you this anyway. So just bear with me.
Hang on a minute.
There's a specialist unit that is then identified people they want to speak to and take them away. They're plainclothes. Of course, what we have also seen in the last couple of days is officers mingling with the crowds, demonstrators wearing the same clothes as them, the yellow hats.
Like I keep saying, what people need to unite under is not all this, that, and the other. It's the fact we've all been lied to. So, you know, unite. United we stand, divided we fall.
If we unite together to learn what the truth is,
exactly,
and
so
just be open-minded to what it can be. Exactly. Just stay open-minded to what it can be, to what the truth can be.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Be open-minded, because if you're not open-minded, you're going to have a problem, you know, with.
So, like the video I just made, isn't it? Your eyes are useless if your mind is closed.
Exactly. So there's no point people coming in shouting out about this, that, and the other, this side, that side. You know, at the end of the day, we've all been lied to. You need to get used to it. That's all we're trying to say, but we're trying to do a bit of positivity with it. You know, because
I've got to say that trolls are really easy to identify from their channel, from their names. Like the one that I just booted out, claiming to be Jewish. Oh, really? That's a really funny name. Oh, really?
See, QAnon is controlled opposition. Trump is Q. Trump's Q is more than Trump, and he, just because he was up there with people that did those sort of things doesn't mean he was one of them. He didn't cross the line, and that's the difference. So,
and I always say everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't always mean they're right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm right.
Listen, I want to finish what I'm saying.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I've just got my eye on the chat.
Hmm?
And I'm just always funny about funny chat names. So
I've already chucked that person out. Come back in again.
Rather than put it. Oh no, hang on. No, that's the person that you vouched for, isn't it?
Who?
Well, she ended up going off on one. What can I say? Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well. What can we say? What can we say? There's just been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on. Big yourself up, Jin. Big yourself up, Jin. Well said.
Yeah.
Like I said, what I've looked into, what they're dealing with in Hong Kong at the moment is this social credit system. It's absolutely heinous. Some of the things that they're having to deal with is absolutely horrendous. I've got a few of them listed out, but I mean, they're being prevented from traveling on the train. They're being prevented from flying. And that's just to name just the scratch of the surface. And so they're out there with lasers. They're out there with masks on their face, umbrellas, everything to stop the facial recognition harming their score even more, to try and get some of their freedom back as far as being able to move and live life as a normal individual. So
can I just say something someone mentioned about Masons? Not all Freemasons were bad. Things got in there, so people need to research that as well. It's not how they started out.
The Masons only used to have 3 degrees.
Yeah, not 30.
Pretty sure. Yeah, I think this whole 33 degrees thing is the parasitical infection that corrupted.
Yes, we know about our birth certificates. We've talked about that. We've talked about we're on maritime law.
I like what Paige said earlier. Please try to remember that it's a duality. Duality is all about 2 sides, and this construct that silence is gold and the frequency is silence when both sides come together. Or yeah, you're talking about it sort of cancelling out or something. We need to harmonize. That's what we need to do. Is everything needs to harmonize.
Because that's what I believe we were back in the day, in the ancient times. I believe we were more harmonized than we are now, and then we fell because people got too involved with the shinies and the looking in the wrong direction, looking at the celebrities and not at the stars in the sky.
Well, because we got basically
hoodwinked.
We always had the ego, but something started to massage the ego, and the ego got too much. It's that is ego, right? And you've got big egos and small egos. Everybody's got one, and the worst people are the worst people because they're the most egotistical, the most sociopathic, self-interested, self-involved, self-obsessed, narcissistic, egotistical people. I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Thank you, Tapper, for shouting that out, because I think some people still don't understand that we're on maritime law, which is sea law.
Yeah, God.
Our land. Don't know that. That's what's going on. No wonder Q says watch the water.
Robert Sepper, who's got his channel.
Yeah, Roll Dead
Robert Sepper and Atlantean Gardens. He has written a book called 1666, all about what happened in because that's when it happened.
Check out
1666. When we got basically all declared lost at sea.
Yep, exactly. And where did the birth certificate come from? It was from the birthing off a boat, I think, when you went onto land. That's how all the birth
because there's 2 certificates. There's a certificate of live birth, as in a live birth.
Yeah.
And then there's your birth certificate. That you've left the birth. It's this whole phonetic play on words that it's another trick with the language, isn't it?
And with that, I'm going to go to the land of Nod now. Because Philly Winnie Woo will be up very, very soon. And I mean, like I said, those that know don't sleep. So I'm off.
Well, at least you just get, you know, all cute and when you're tired, because some women just turn into a fucking nightmare.
No, I need to go to Bobby's now.
Sorry, Tapper, I bloody swore again, didn't I? I'm sorry, mate.
What you like?
Tapper's been well on it, hasn't he?
And give me a shout when you get up in the morning. And
me get up this one. I'm always like, I see all these new things. I'm always like, where's the butt? Oh, it's there.
Listen.
What? Adjustment Bureau. What?
I'll get my book ready for tomorrow.
Right. I shall see you all whenever I see you. Nighty night.
Night, darling.
Good night, darling.
Where we go?
Now it's just us two, bro. It's just the two of us. There's not really much we can do about screens now because it's just us two. I don't know what we can. I don't. We can do that.
There we go. Yeah, that's all right.
I can take it.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, you can take the. That's good like that. I don't care. I don't care about being seen. I mean, well, at the moment, I'm, you know.
Can do this.
Yeah, I am well aware of how skinny I am at the moment. Thank you. Maybe it's methamphetamine. Maybe I'm just this for my trolls. Sorry. I went and reactivated my trolls, didn't I? Idiot, man. No, I didn't mean to. I didn't actually mean to at all. I went and commented on somebody's video, and she's making these videos about these people that they were trolling me last year, and they're trolling her now. And I just left a comment saying, why are you feeding your trolls, man? You know they're trolling you. There's no point to it. You're just feeding your trolls. Just leave it.
It's true.
And of course, all their trolls jumped on it, and all their trolls are my old trolls. So they started with all the God. I forget how many comments there were, but yeah, it was bringing up all the stuff from last year. The funniest thing is that they're trying to use information that I volunteered myself to everybody when I first started making videos, because you know, I figured I just want people to know who I am and how I got here and everything. And they're trying to use the information as if they've dug it out. They're changing it and they're twisting it to make me out to be something that I'm not. But you know, like they do. But it's quite funny, really.
That's what they do, though. That's what they do. They twist it and then try and demotivate you from making content. Is there anyone in the chat room that is a content maker? If anyone in the chat room is a content maker, press 1 just now. What trials and tribulations have you faced since putting your head above the parapet and starting to make truth-based content, red pill content, woke content, going against what we've been told is fact content?
Do you know, I remember somebody saying yesterday or the day before yesterday, I forget, I think it was in one of Dolly's chats, saying that they haven't had any trolls yet. And I forgot to ask, like, you know, and go and see what videos, what content they're making at the moment, because it's only specific things that get you trolls, really, isn't it?
Well, that's why I'm reaching out to other people to ask them and trying to get feedback from other people. And shout out to Level Scouser, Critical Inception, Tapper 777, Paige, Flat Earth Trav, various content makers in the chat room. How have you dealt with trolls? If you could try and articulate that in a few characters, it'd be quite helpful to hear some feedback. So obviously we talk to each other, but it would be nice to get a little bit more outreach as far as is you know, problem shared is a problem halved. In that sense, I for one would like to know different ways for people that just come and, you know, try and
do you know what
I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it. There isn't a nice way. It's just troll. It's bad.
I think I've said we've said this before, right? But one of the things that I really love about us is that most of our content is outside of the channel. Most of our contact, sorry, we speak like, okay, the last week we've been a bit we haven't been able to chat that much because you know, because of stuff, but crikey, you know, over the last 18 months we've had way more contact with each other than we have made content.
Yeah.
We?
Yeah.
Whereas other channels, sometimes the only contact that they make with each other when they're collaborating or whatever is, you know, when they get together to make their videos. They don't really know that much about each other, or they, you know, it's all just about the content. It's not about life. Am I making sense?
No, totally. Yeah, you are. You are. You are. I think.
Oh, nice, mate. Good night, mate.
Oh, no, Nath. Sorry, I did pop it up on the screen.
So I didn't realise he was in here. I didn't realise he was in. I just saw his thing.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. I'm going to get to you in the chat room in a second as we're rolling into quite early hours of the morning. It's coming up to 2:30 here. But
it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me.
What were we just saying? Wow. I just interrupted myself and forgot what I was saying. Crap.
It's because you're tired.
Yeah. It can't have been. Yeah, I had brain freeze. Sorry, guys. I wish it was like Sky Plus and I could take it back about 15 seconds ago. What was I about to say?
Yeah.
Can all mods watch the chat? I'm making a cup up. Can you make me one as well? My cup's empty.
Do you know what? You go make a cup up. Because Lenny Miz, how many have no family to talk to? I have one. Right? I don't really speak to my family. I mean, yeah. The last time I contacted my sister was ages ago, months ago, man. I haven't spoken to my parents since 2012. I haven't seen them since 2012 or spoken to them. So I don't really. I've got cousins, and occasionally, every couple of months, we make contact. But I don't think anybody that's on the path, anybody that's found the path or found a path, they find it in a time when they're disconnected from their families and you know, the friends that they have. That's when we find the path, I think, because we're disconnected from everything else. That's why we find the path, because we go looking, because we're like, wow, what's going on, man? I'm completely on my own here. This world is crazy. I miss a good troll once in a while. They used to have good arguments last year. Now most of them just insult you. Do you know what? I go sort of 3-4 years ago. Trolls used to be, you know, they used to be intelligent. You used to get intelligent, witty remarks from trolls. Now all they do is slander, and I think actually most of the trolls are pubescent. I think they're in their teens, like mid to late teens, all very pubescent, basically. And I'm guessing pretty much most of the men that are trolling, that are proper trolls, have got some kind of erectile dysfunction, or you know, they've got a really tiny little pecker or something. They're just really angry with the world and angry with they've got such a really crap deal, or they think they got a really crap deal. So, you know. I know, Ricardo, me and you had a little, not a falling out. It's just that I was expressing myself in a way you thought was way too arrogant, and I was a bit of an idiot. And I think that might actually, that might be totally the case. I know that I can be arrogant. I know that sometimes when I know something, I know it, and I can get really arrogant about it because I'm sorry, I know it, and it doesn't. I made a video about it. What is knowing? It doesn't matter what you think you know. Doesn't matter what any single one of us thinks we know. The moment the information is imparted from us to another person, it becomes a perspective. It becomes an opinion. It becomes an understanding that, well, that's how that guy saw it. That, it's a point of view. You can't, the only things that you can say that you know, and you can say, when you say, I know, it has authority because everybody else knows it as well. 4 hours in the day, and there are 12 months in the year, and there are 364 days in the year, and 365 in a leap year, or 65 and 66, I can't remember. But we know these things to be absolute, because what people don't seem to, a lot of people don't realize, there's 3 different types of truth. There's objective truth, there's subjective truth, and there's absolute truth. It's absolutely true that there are 24 hours in the day and 12 months in the year and the first month of the year. That's absolutely true, and we all know it to be true, so we can say that we know it. But anything like the things that we're trying to talk about, it's just an opinion. I can't prove to anybody what I know because I feel in my heart that I know it. I can't prove it to you. All I can do is show you the things that showed me what what brought me to my conclusion. But it still won't help you know why I came to my conclusion, because unless you've been through exactly the same things that I've been through, in exactly the same order, at exactly the same time, unless you were me, how are you gonna? You can say how you would have reacted or how you think you would have reacted if, when you imagine, oh, if this thing had happened to me, this is how I think I would have reacted to it. This is how I think I would have perceived it. This is the whole point of it. It's all about our own perceptions. We all have free will, and we all have our own perception. We all have our own version of the universe. That's why there's multiple universes, because each one of us holds our own version of this universe from our own perspective, through our own perception. Am I still on? I've got no idea. I don't know where. Well, I can see me, but I don't know. Can you still hear me in the chat? You can. Oh, cool. All right. Because there's one. I'm on my island. Oh. So, you know what I'm saying? It's. I see this reality from my perspective. It's my perception of this reality based on my experience of life and people and trauma. And it's fair to say that I've been through probably a substantial amount of trauma, more than your average person. I've been through some really, really, really horrible things, really serious, with massive consequences. And, you know, I've been through some really bad stuff, man. All I've been able to do is my best to get through each time. So the worst thing that ever happened to me was falling asleep at the wheel because I was really tired, and waking up basically in hospital a few weeks later and being told that, you know, my girlfriend's been killed. That was, I can't explain to you how that was. I can't even nearly describe it to you, except saying the universe split in half. Right? And it was like my entire reality shattered. So my perspective of things has been massively altered for a really long time. I had technically a near-death experience. I've technically had 4 near-death experiences. The car crash in 2000 being the 3rd, not the 4th, not the last. I was nearly killed. That was close, really close. So my whole perception of this reality has been totally warped since 2001, when I woke up from my coma, and my mum told me that I'd basically destroyed everything. And how many other people have been through that? So how many other people can see the way that I see it? I don't think there's many. There must be people out there in similar situations to mine. I've never met somebody. I've never met. I would like to. I'd like to meet somebody and talk to them and see how they dealt with it, see how they're dealing with it, how they're still coping with it. Because I'll tell you something, right? If you've got a heart at all, and you're ever responsible for somebody's death, it's never, ever going to leave you. Every single day, you know, you remember. So my trolls can say whatever they want. You know, they can try and trigger me and say all kinds of hateful things about the accident and why it happened and who I am and what, you know, who I am now and everything. There's this last year, it really triggered me really bad. Now it's just, you know, it's it's a mild irritation, but I've completely got, I don't know what I've been talking about now. So honestly, I don't want any sympathy. I thank you very much. Thank you so much, right, for the sympathy and stuff. But honestly, I don't want it. I don't need it, because if this is, you know, this is my thing, man. And I can't, it cuts me up if I think about it for too long. So let's talk about something else now. Dude, Ricardo, I've had nightmares ever since it happened. I've had nothing but nightmares ever since it happened. But I hope maybe it's because of the weed. I don't remember or maybe it's my subconscious is protecting me. I don't remember. I don't remember the dreams. Occasionally I do. I had a period earlier this year where I was remembering my dreams, and they were like really horrific. I've been waking up with marks on my body, with bruises and cuts, and the dream. All I can remember is that in the dream I was either in a fight or I was being tortured. That's happened a few times where I've been tortured in my dreams. I've just been getting fucking tortured a lot. But recently, I'm just waking up, I'm like, I wake up and it's like somebody's come and just chucked a bucket of water over me. My mattress is soaked. I'm soaked. Like, it's a good job I don't have a girlfriend at the moment, because even if we change the sheets, like, we need to change the sheets every single day, because I'm sweating too much, man. It's crazy. Mary, things, dude, this is one of the things that my trolls hate, is that actually, despite everything that's happened in my life, right, it's all brought me to where I am now, and I know that something brought me here to this island. I never asked to come to this island. Somebody called me out of the blue while I was on the street in Malaga. And yeah, I ended up here, and ever since I got here, everything's been slotting into place, you know. So can't anybody worry about me. Spiritual warfare is a very real thing, man. Very, very real thing. Trouble about, like I said, right, that wasn't actually the start of my derailment from life. The start of my derailment from life was 18 months before that, when the love of my life broke up with me, and everything that I'd worked for up until that point became redundant. So I did the worst thing. I was really contemplating suicide. I was contemplating it so seriously that I thought, do you know what? Instead of just killing myself now, why don't I try Class A drugs? And maybe I'll die taking Class A drugs. So I just took a lot of Class A drugs, and no heroin or crack or anything like that, all recreational ecstasy, loads of ecstasy. And at the time, that patched the wound, man. That put me in a different, totally altered state. Unfortunately, it had the side effects, the repercussions, basically the what's the word? What's the bloody, when you do something, it has consequences. The consequences of that depression, basically, massive, heavy depression. So that just made the situation worse. And I realized very quickly, after a couple of months, I realized that I was heading down a very, very well, the path I was on had one end, and I changed my mind, because I saw a better side. The drugs helped me have fun, and I started seeing a girl, and I started seeing a better side, started to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I thought, right, the only way I'm gonna get off drugs is if I leave the country. So I'm gonna do something with my music, and I'm gonna go somewhere to a different place, different country, and I'm gonna try and make some money doing music. So I went into the travel agents. I said, I want to go tomorrow. What's the next flight? They said, you fly to Greece. Excellent. Went into my job, quit my job, and the next day I flew out to Greece. And that was to get off Class A drugs and to try and make something with my music. And then, I ended up meeting another girl, then followed her back to England. And then 18 months later, I was with somebody else and she got killed. It was, I can't remember the point of why I was telling you this. I've been talking way too much about myself, man. Roxanne, where the fuck are you? Come back. Come back. I don't want to talk anymore. Can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry. It was interesting.
There you are.
It was interesting hearing a bit of your past, to be honest. It was interesting hearing,
It's only a couple of pages out of the book.
I massively appreciate you doing that. There's a lot of people in the chat room that haven't heard that before, and I agree with King that talking's a form of therapy. I think it is. I think it is. Yeah.
But there are videos on the channel that where I've talked about it. I do talk about it, and it's been wow.
I know, I've heard
you. It's been 19 years. Yeah, but I've got nearly 1,000 videos.
You've got a ton of videos on your channel. If you haven't already,
I've got nearly 1,000 videos. So it's in one of my videos around June or July last year, I think.
Yeah.
Or in a couple of them. But Ricardo, I started saying to you, man, talking about the, you unsubbed me and that, and then we bumped into each other again. I think it was in Dolly's chat. It was either in Dolly's or Roxanne's chat, and you'd seen a different. Well, you saw that I'm not a fake person. I'm, what you see is what you get, and a lot of people can't deal with it. Like, if something needs to be said, I'll say it as well. I'm one of those people. I'm the guy in the room that if somebody's behaving like a dick and somebody needs to go and tell them that they're being a dick and nobody wants to, they're all going, oh, I'll go and say to that person, mate, you're being a dick, because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
If it needs to be said, I'll say it. That's why people think I'm arrogant. That's where I can come across quite arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. You pretty much.
Oh, Ricardo said it was me deleting people. Me deleting people.
Could have been.
What, out of what, as a moderator or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway.
Possibly.
Anyway, the point is, it's all water under the bridge, man, and Ricardo can see. I think hopefully he understands me a little bit better, and I've got a lot of respect for Ricardo. I like you, man.
Yeah, me too.
I like you in our chats. You're a really, you're a good contributor.
Yeah, massively good.
Very, very good contributor.
And I want to take the time to actually say to all of you to thank you all really for taking the time out to be here with us as we're streaming the Really Woke Late show this evening. I've just reached out and said to any of you, if you have any questions for us, pop them in the chat room. And I'm going to just scroll up because I think I have already seen a question from Trouble About. I have a question. What do you think of the viewpoint that atoms do not exist and therefore neither do protons, electrons, neutrons, photons, Higgs boson, or any of that stuff exist? But the question of the viewpoint that atoms do not exist and therefore neither do. So I haven't really got an informed response for you. I would just say that in my primitive kind of viewpoint, I more swing towards biologists, because at least biologists are, you know, able to kind of clearly, you know, they've named something, it's because they can physically and tangibly have it there.
I'm itching to respond, man.
Start talking about things that don't exist and giving them names and stuff. So I don't know if really I'm informed enough, and I won't say qualified or educated, just informed enough to give an informed response. But what I would say is, from my viewpoint, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure, you know. I'm not sure. So
can I answer? Can I
Rich,
answer?
you can fire away on that one, my darling. Yeah, go for it.
Trouble about, will it make a difference to anything that you do, anything at all in your life? Will it make any difference to you? Anything about these protons and neutrons and electrons and everything? Does it actually affect how you are able to live your life by understanding any of those things? Does it affect how you treat people? If we've got Higgs bosons and neutrons and protons and whatever, or if they don't exist, does that make any difference at all to the way that you treat your neighbor or your family or your friends or your partner or yourself? Will it actually affect that in any way? Because I'm not sure that it would, really. I don't think it really makes any difference at all. So I've got to say, really, I think that that's just part of the smoke and mirrors and, you know, distractions and crap that they've chucked out to get us to focus on, so that we're not focused on what is real. Because not one of us can prove if the Higgs boson exists or if protons are real. Not one of us can prove that. And you could go and indoctrinate yourself for the next 20 years and then spend the next 20 years after that trying to prove it or not. Is that going to make any difference to kids in Africa getting abducted and sold into slavery? Serious question, is it? I can't see what people are saying.
Interesting.
Because if you ask me, I'd say no, it doesn't. So why are we worried about it? Why are we discussing it? Me and Roxanne and Dolly we don't talk about gravity and what the sun's made of, because there's other channels that are focusing on that, and that's cool. But we think that there's more important things. We think there's more important things that need to be focused on. They're doing a really, really good job of it, man. They're doing a much better job than us, because they're much more informed.
Yeah, I agree.
And in some cases, they're much more intelligent. You know, Anthony is extremely intelligent, man, and so is
He is incredibly informed.
so's what's his name? I'm tired now. So his name
Nathan,
yes. You know, and Jason and Robin, they're extremely intelligent, so they're better placed to, and they're better informed to be discussing these things about, you know, about gravity or whatever.
Yep, I agree. And I have seen the other questions
we're focusing on the more human side of it, the more human here and now, what we can actually affect, what you can affect and change.
Yeah. Whoops, don't know what I just did there. All right, so on to the next question. Did you watch the WWF in the 90s? Did you ever see the wrestlers predicting 9/11 in their trash talking? Did anybody else? I didn't. I didn't really watch wrestling back in the day, you know.
I didn't watch it, man.
Because my brother did and various of my friends did, but I didn't myself. So has anybody else in the chat room watching just now seen any of that? I'd be interested to know, Dave, what you're talking about, please.
I got to say, right back in the day of WWF.
Not, but if you click over to Trinity 4's channel, he's doing a picnic near Speaker's Corner tomorrow, which is a little bit away from the action, but it's still there in the vibe anyway. So check out Trinity 4's channel as he's doing a picnic tomorrow. But I myself won't be there as I've got a crap load of preparations to do before the tour kicks off on the 29th. So yeah, and the video is called Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan Predict 9/11 Attack. Okay. Really? I don't know if I watched that one, Ricardo. So thank you. And yeah, I think I answered the other one as well. Hold on. And hold on. I did see another one there from, yeah. So, and in response to Jin CBR, yeah, a lot of the people that were involved in the tour first time round will be involved this time round. I know that Jason's just recently spoken to Harry as well. I can't confirm anything at this point, but yeah, please have a look at the Global Eye website to see who's on the tour. Myself, I'll be on the tour. I can speak for me. There's plenty of other people on the tour as well. But I haven't got a list in front of me. And I know myself, Ranty, Adam Meakin, Dave Murphy, Jason of the Disbury, and a few other people are going to be on the tour as well. Internationally speaking as well, we've got people flying from the States, flying from Europe, and trying to think of more. Trying to think. But yeah, watch this space. Nope, didn't forget. Don't worry. And if you want to support the tour direct, you can go to gofundme.com/f/globe-live-euro-tour-2019. And hello, Rick D. Hello, Gary. Hello. Who have I missed out there? Saw someone I didn't see before. And Dr. LA 0206. Sorry, I haven't shouted you out. Army of TMH as well. Paige. And
who's a dimwit, Gary?
Television. Nelson Aura, Bible literalist. And JP, John Kennedy, Trouble About. And Critical Inception. I'll have a sip of my coffee.
Who's a dimwit?
Who's a dimwit?
Gary McDonald says dimwit.
Oh. There's always one, isn't there?
Just beginning there.
There's always one.
Oh, King. Yeah, man. Thank you.
We'll see.
I'm just my new battery should arrive in the next few days or sometime next week. And it should have 30-minute flight time. But we have managed to confirm that my drone has got some sort of there's something like the battery is draining in 7.5 minutes now. The battery is only getting 7.5 minutes flight time, and there's no reason for it. There's nothing wrong with the battery. Right? I've invested money in the tester and everything to test it, to balance charge it, to properly balance charge it. There's nothing wrong with the battery. So the only thing can be that the processor's working too hard, or something's going on in the drone that it doesn't normally have to do, and it's using more power than it should. And that all I can think is, well, that's funny because that happens with my phone as well. My phone, the battery drains really quickly every now and again, you know, and it overheats. And
mine goes down really quickly as well when it's ready.
And there's my laptop's been hacked as well, and it's got Discord on it that I can't delete off.
You see. Strange goings on. What's your response to Lenny's question, Double O?
What was Lenny's question?
Some of the answers may lie at the North or South Pole.
Right. Something definitely low. Right. We live on a monopole. The Earth is a monopole. There is only the North Pole. There is no South Pole. There's only the North Pole. So, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, right? So, yeah, there's something. I think that it's a Mount Meru situation. I think that there's actually continents right at the north, right in the north, and there's maybe a mountain or something, or a volcano or a pyramid or something right there up at the north that we're just not going to get anywhere near. And I think that there's a real possibility that there might be some sort of entrance into, you know, like a portal or something into Ricardo, thank you, man. You know, a portal into a different dimension or something.
Thank you, my darling. Massive shout out to Ricardo.
Yeah, massive shout out to Ricardo. Thank you, bro.
Super chat, my darling. Massive
shout. And JP, dude, it seems perceivably flat. It seems observably flat and perceivably flat in all ways, flat and stationary and motionless. But we still can't prove it yet, so we can only say it seems flat. Might be a big old concave. The Earth, definitely the energy around the Earth is a torus field, absolutely, and around each one of us individually, the energy around us individually, the magnetic field around us is a torus field. So
I'm finding the chat room's interactions so interesting. There might be a South Pole as well as a wall or an ice shelf.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't think that there's a I know that there are some people talking about going to Agartha or something through the North Pole. I know that a lot of the blood over intent people have got this thing about the North Pole. That's not going to happen. That I don't think that's a real thing. I think that paradise is something that's going to manifest here on Earth. I think it's going to be something that we can realize here in this reality on Earth. Heaven is something that a reality that we can realize here on Earth while we're alive. We don't have to die to go to heaven. That's a lie sold by the Catholics. We have to remember the paradigms, man. What they've done to us, they've boxed us all up into hundreds and hundreds of little boxes with labels on them. And people are jumping out of one box and into another. Some people are just sat there staunch in their box saying, I'm not going to move. This is reality. But all the boxes, all they are is paradigms. And all the paradigms do is restrict you, keep you chained to this reality. And they say the truth will set you free. And it's like, well, yeah, but look at you, Rich. Like, you've been awake for 6 years, and how's your life improved? How's anything got any better? Well, I mean, it hasn't improved massively in certain respects, like material wise, because I'm not interested in that and never have been really.
Yeah.
That's, you know, otherwise I would have invested my time and money and everything into collecting a whole bunch of material things to go, oh, look at everybody, look at what I've got. I just all I need is the stuff that I need to do what I want to do. That's a phone and a computer, which is, well, that's written off now, but you know, my iPad for work, a car to drive, my guitar. That, you know, there's some things that we just kind of need, and it's, as long as it works, I don't really go toss where it came from. It doesn't have to be new. It just has to work and be reliable. That's all. It doesn't have to be shiny. None of that. So, but the difference is that the difference is that I'm. Yeah.
Go on, carry on, darling. Go on. Sorry, I thought you were finished.
I was just going to say that the difference is, like, it's the freedom of your mind. It frees your mind. It absolutely frees your mind. And once you've opened your mind up to allow yourself to perceive things in a different way, you can see how much power you have just purely with your own perception to change things. And it's amazing because you can change everything totally, right? But it doesn't change for anybody else. It only changes for you. Well, that's, you know, it's like a sort of a magic trick, really. Everybody can change their perception all the time. That's why the past is just as fluid as the future, because you can always change your perception of what happened in the past. And if you change your perception of what happened in the past, it can help you let go of things. That's what you have to do. That's the most important thing, to let go. You've got to let go of everything. Most of all, let go of all of your preconceptions. The programming.
You know, I've forgotten what I was going to say now, innit? what I've got to do is, instead of like saying, I get so frustrated with myself. Oh man, you were saying something that really resonated with me, and I was like, yeah, bang, let me say that, and then it's just gone. Is it just me that happens to? Probably is. Probably shouldn't share that as we're live, but that's so jarring when you have like something on the tip of your tongue that you want to say, and then the moment passes, and then it's like a fleeting moment of a thought.
It's because you're tired.
Yeah, but then it happens to me when it's the middle of the afternoon. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, true. I mean, I'm tired. No, but I was energetically ready to say something, and then I was like, all right, let me wait until you're finished.
Yeah, this can have an effect on short-term memory.
Yeah.
Smoking cigarettes.
Shout out to the chat room as well. I wanted to say that as well. Shout out to the chat room, because the chat room's had some. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. The chat room. Good. I'm glad we got back to the chat room, because I want to repeat, as you know, okay, the Global Eye Tour is kicking off in a few days' time. It's kicking off on the 29th of August. And as you know, we're going to go across Europe, about 15,000 miles. And it's not just our tour, it's everybody's tour. And obviously, I'm going to go out there and say what I'm going to say. But for those of you that aren't going to be able to get out onto the tour, I was wondering if you would possibly pop into the chat room just now some bits and pieces that you would like said out there on the tour repeatedly. You feel it's a priority to let as many people know ... If you could, complete that sentence for me, that would be awesome. You personally think it's really important for people to know blah blah blah. If you could,
like, I'll give an example if I can.
And that's, by the way, what I forgot I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Good.
My example for that would be, I think it's really, really important that what they teach about the law of curvature and the Earth being a circumference of 25,000 miles is provably false. Every day, in various locations all over the Earth, you can see that it's false, because if it was true, then their law of curvature would work. It would be a real thing that would work, and you would be able to observe curvature and measure it. But we can't anywhere on Earth. That's the most important thing that anybody needs to know about if this Earth is a globe or not.
Yeah, and I've noted Flatball saying, make people well aware that the Flat Earth Society is bollocks.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I do. Do you know that there's people cheeky enough at Speaker's Corner to shout to the crowd that I'm talking to that I am Flat Earth Society, and I think the Earth's a spinning pizza dish in space.
I mean, that's the thing. I think most people do actually know.
It can be specific to any known truth that you've gone into looking into, and you know that it's not what we've been told.
Yeah, that's the thing. This isn't a flat Earth channel, man. This is not a flat Earth channel. We all happen to be globe deniers. Well, no, we all happen to be globe deniers. It's not even. This channel isn't even just about globe life. This channel's about being woke to the deceptions. And there's so many more than just the globe. That was the biggest one, and that was probably one of, I don't think it was the first, but it was one of the first. And it's certainly the one that separated us from our perception. That's when we gave our perception to them. When we bought into that heliocentric model, you gave your perception to NASA, basically, to the controllers.
Another great point, and loads of great points in the chat as well. We've got JP saying that there's evil in the world and that we've been lied to, and we're stationary and flat. King Xenomorph says maths, English are the only thing needed in schools. The rest was lies. Perfectly put. And what was the other one that I saw as well? Effie Mary says, there's two statements that always get me. They're hiding God and... I'm searching, Mary. Mary's not put part 2 for that in yet.
The Big Lebowski. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, prick.
And then Paige says, a priority for me would be birth certificates. Let everyone know they are lost at sea and are debtors, not creditors. So, my question, what convinced you as a child to believe in a globe Earth? I had great difficulty and took detention, and the teacher... Yeah, I'm back. My question, what convinced you as a child to believe in globe Earth? I had great difficulty and it took detention and the teacher telling me to as my mother. Can you still hear me, Double A?
Yeah. You went out, you're disconnected for a sec, but yeah.
And
I was totally sold on the globe, man. I didn't have any difficult. Well, it's weird because I remember times. I remember when I lived in Greece. When I first left England, went to Greece. I was in Paros, and it was the month of the solar eclipse. So there was you could see the moon. That's how I know that the eclipse that happened in 2016 was a load of it wasn't a real eclipse because, and I don't think any of the ones that have been since either have been real eclipses, if I'm honest, because they've not happened in the same way that you could see the moon all the way. You could all the way across, and then it went across the sun, and you saw the whole thing happen, right? But all the eclipses that have happened recently, you don't see the moon. It's just suddenly the sun starts to eclipse, but there's no sign of the bloody moon beforehand. So, yeah, that's why I'm calling all of those to be fake. That's why I say I know that they are fake, because I know that I've seen a real eclipse, and I know what a real eclipse looks like because I saw it in 1999 in Greece. It was a partial eclipse, and it was amazing. Right? And I've seen the partial eclipse in 2016. That was meant to have been the great 33rd parallel. That one. That when it was happening, when it was absolutely full eclipse in America, you couldn't even see the moon here, and the sun was bright as. And I put it in a video on YouTube on the date, and YouTube had changed the date that I uploaded it, so it doesn't make any sense now. When you look at it, I'm going, hey, America, look, they're saying you've got an eclipse right now. You've got an eclipse right now. Okay, well, here I am off the west coast of Africa, and there's the sun, and you can see it all, and there isn't any moon anywhere near it. So how's your eclipse happening right now? And they've posted it up. They're saying that I posted it in October or something now, and I didn't. I posted it on the bloody day it happened. So that's how I know that. I know myself for a fact that eclipse wasn't real. It wasn't a real eclipse. But I can't prove that to any of you. So.
And it's true what Matt Kay is saying. It's not that he was convinced. It's just that was the only option. So true. So true.
Yeah. And you know what? Films like Star Wars, that really helped it, man. Really, really helped it, because it gave this really, I was an adventurous kid with a really, really, really active imagination. So imagining about space, man, endless space, Deep Space Nine, Star Trek, Star Wars, all of them, everything, all of it. I loved it. Firefly on Sci-Fi, loved it.
See, even this here. Let's use this here, right? Okay, what way does it go a bit better? So see this here, this ball. This here, can you see it? This.
That blob.
This here.
The blob, yeah.
Blob. I bought into that for 30 odd years. Yeah. They mugged me right off. They mugged the lot off.
I know.
This.
Me too. Me too. Not just that. I was going to say, right, when I was watching that eclipse in Greece,
you clearly see, right, that this is an oblate spheroid. Clearly, can you see how it's not actually a circle? It's an oblate spheroid.
Oh yeah, it's actually more like a pear. It's more like a pear.
A circle.
No, but it's more like a pear, though.
Yeah.
No, but
it's not.
His mouth is an Ask Tyson.
But it is like a peary kind of oblate spheroid, but it slightly looks like a circle, but it's not. Bought that. Mugged off.
Right, there were a few occasions I remember in my teens when we went out UFO hunting, and when I passed my driving license, we went out UFO hunting along Salisbury Plain and that, and I was stood there and it was windy. I was looking up at the stars and I saw this satellite go past, right? And I swear I was stood up there, and just suddenly it was like my consciousness went away, and I could see myself stood on this giant, massive bloody rock flying through space, and I could almost feel the earth moving. It's like I tricked my perception into it, but I wanted it to be real so much that I allowed myself to perceive it to be real. And it's so funny now when you look at all the reasons why it's not what they say it is, they're so glaringly obvious when you see them. It's like, and then once you finally fully accepted it, and you know it's a couple of years down the road, you think, oh my God, how? I mean, the moon landings. How did we ever buy it? Seriously, have you seen the HD photographs? Because they had HD photos in 1969. Didn't you know that? Yeah. Crepuscular rays, man.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can read it. To be honest, is it even in focus? Can anyone?
What you see, something says something. My phone.
It says, when you see crepuscular rays and sunspots on the sea, do you honestly believe the sun is 93 million miles away from Earth? Or does it seem much closer?
No, because the thing is though, the sun, right? It's like the refraction or something, where the sun's coming through the atmosphere, yeah, and it gets like it's made into like the atmosphere acts like a magnifying glass, yeah, and concentrates it on one spot. That's why. That's what it is.
I know, Ricardo, don't get started with the moon landing as well, right? It says measuring with sextants and calculating with plane trigonometry, both the sun and moon figure to be only about 32 miles in diameter and approximately 3,000 miles away. Interesting. Thoughts in the chat room? Anyone? Did I just drop a lead balloon? Sorry. But, you know, even the blue marbles, they're all fake, as my banner says. They're all fake. They're all fake. Robert Simon, a.k.a. Mr. Blue Marble, creator of the blue marble, Earth used on iPhone wallpaper, admitted in 2012. NASA's photographs of the whole Earth from space was from 1972 to 2012. And were fake based on people's expectations.
Have we got some trolls? Yay!
Yay. Aww.
Oh, but you know.
You know what? I can't see them because I'm not looking at my YouTube. I'm looking at this.
No, I've got it on my. I've just got the chat going on the on my iPad. So, Fluff can't even spell fluff.
So, can I ask a question?
Fluff
trolls or globe heads. If the pictures of Earth are fake, what other evidence supports that the Earth is a globe?
Should we go with
what evidence actually supports that we live on a globe? None. Checklist 0.
Hang on. Isn't there a picture of the Earth taken by the Apollo? There was when they were on the moon. Oh yeah, no, but we accepted the moon landing didn't happen.
Yeah, been there, done that. Been there, done that.
So yeah, that's gone.
I think everyone in the chat room can relate to that. So it's now coming up to 3:30, and I am like reaching now. I'm a little bit tired. I think I need to go beddy guys as well.
See, I'm up for going on, but I need prompting. I am tired, and you know. But yeah, no, we should go. How long have we been going? We've been nearly 3 hours, babe.
3 hours, yeah. So how about if we get a space tomorrow before you go out to your gig? We'll go live tomorrow evening.
Yeah, we can do that.
Cool.
I'm up for that.
I'm down.
I'm up for that if everybody wants it.
Please do see the description for all channel links and much more information regarding the Globe Live Tour, how to donate and how to support the tour. and get involved. All the information is in the description. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out to be with us here this evening for the really woke, late, early morning show.
I'll tell you what. Thank you to everybody. Like, let me just go back in and see. We've got 55 people still watching us now. So
Super
thank
cool.
you, man. 2 hours 55 minutes in, and we've
Big
still got 55 people.
Big time. Flat Earth dude, you rock, man. You rock, man.
Yeah. Everybody in the chat room rocks, man. We even love the trolls because they're just doing their job, and their job is to train you to not breathe and to not insult and try to humiliate and do all the things that they do. They're just trying to trigger us into responding to them. So just don't respond, you know. Don't feed the trolls.
Cheers, Ricardo. And cheers to everybody that's been locked in this evening.
Thank you very much,
everyone
guys.
In the chat room. Massive shout to you all. I'm just trying to get through you all just now. There's a load of names in the chat room. Just trying to scroll up. And then work my way
Mitochondrial DNA, man. Mitochondrial DNA and genetic markers. Things you just can't get away from.
Yeah, it was. Cheers for sharing that with us this evening, Rich. And King's Animals for being here. JP, Paige, Chris Matt, Lee Redpath, Dr. LA, 0206, Dave, Astro King, Army of TMH, Lenny Mears, Doc Michael, Ricardo, Monteballo.
There was no Red Eye Jedi tonight, man.
Jin, CBR1, he might have been out. Flat Earth Dude, Iger Television, John Kennedy. Who else?
Well, listen, Red Eye, if you watch it now, like if you watch it on a replay, I thought of you, man. I missed you. Where were
you? Army of TMH, I think I've already mentioned you. Massive shout, Gracie Dane, Isabella Neal, Matt K, Tapper 777.
Yeah, big shout out, Tapper, man. Tapper, you're awesome, mate.
Big time. Thank you, sweetheart. And I'm hoping I haven't missed anybody out. And if you have been watching
and trouble about
the chat room, but you have been anonymously watching, I want to massively thank you as well for even just taking part by being one of the viewers. You're massively, massively appreciated, as much as everybody in the chat room as well. And if one of these days you do decide to burst in the chat room and say hi, we'd love to say hi back to you. Critical Inception, thanks so much.
Later. Hey, nobody kick him out yet. Can we just have some fun with this prick? Oh, stop, Michael. I was gonna have some fun with him. Oh no, we're not meant to feed the trolls, are we? We're going to bed now. Why am I waking up? Why am I waking up?
What are you like? Well, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll try and come back tomorrow.
I could go live on my channel.
You could.
I could do that. I could go live.
And we will be back either tomorrow, and if we're not back tomorrow, then we will be back in the week. The Globe Live Tour starts on the 29th of August. Please see the description for all of the links and more info on that. That is only literally just a few days away now. And if you haven't already got involved in the tour and you want to take part, you want to donate, or you want to find out some more information, as I said, go into the description and check it out. And anyone else? Astro King. I hope I haven't missed I Woke the Sheep. Well, we have a life.
JP. King. Doc, Jin, everyone, man. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
I know. That's what some people do at 3 a.m. We have a life. And some of these trolls don't quite get it.
No. Tapper, I Woke the Sheep. That wasn't a troll comment, man.
No.
I Woke the Sheep. I Woke the Sheep was saying what a prick the person was online at 3 a.m.
Morning, sleep till noon. Oh, that's a good one.
Sorry, I Woke the Sheep. That was just a little misunderstanding.
No worries. No worries. No worries.
Oh, Kappa.
Yes.
Sorry, man.
Hopefully, we will be back. And JP, thanks to you too as well, my darling. And on everyone on a replay, if you have just watched this on a replay, thank you for watching this absolutely mammoth 3-hour escapade of the really woke late show. This has been myself, DollyDayDream, who is now already sleeping, and 007, and we shall see you either tomorrow or within a few days. And again, massive shout out and big hugs and love to you all. Until next time.
See you later, guys.